Shit, you're in tune to the decipher sounds and we lock down in the media. It's all about high-level music for the Y2K vibe. Shout out to UK talent, just keep pushing on and moving forward. Cause UK talent is nearly at its peak, yeah? Don't give up now, it's not long. It's just a matter of time.
Hello, everybody. It is once again another beautiful Frederica Friday. We are continuing Peak, aka Sumi Horoboshi Hen. I'm looking real forward to the stuff we are going to get to today. Lots of good stuff today. In fact, one could argue one of the best scenes in the entire series today that I have been greatly looking forward to getting to. So yeah, let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. Oh, you're talking about Kasai-san. He's Shion's watchdog. Her watchdog? Really? Yeah, he is. Shion tends to do crazy things. So she needs to have someone watch her all the time. I think you're as crazy as Shion. Keiichi-kun cut into the conversation. They ended up making a lot of noise, teasing each other like they always do. Mion made it sound like that man, Kasai-san, is some sort of territory boss in Okonomiya. It wouldn't be easy for me to meet him in person, but because he's Shi-chan's watchdog, I might be able to find a way. The problem, though, is that I don't have any connection to Shi-chan either. We hang around every once in a while whenever she comes to Hinamizawa, but I've never called or visited her. I have no idea how we can meet. Even if I could meet Kasai-san, there's no guarantee that he'd help me. He seems like the kind of person who doesn't like to gossip about others. He told me about Rina-san at the coffee house only because Shi-chan pushed him to. Plus, the situation could grow worse very quickly while I waited for the chance to meet him, so any help he could offer could come too late. I remember Kasai-san told me that, as her next step, Rina-san usually uses her partner to threaten their catch. That would signify the end of her performance. They were going to take all of my father's money. I wasn't feeling a sense of crisis yet, but that time might be coming very soon. Even as I was at school, taking a class peacefully, that man might already be at the house right at this moment, threatening my father to hand over his bank books. Once I become anxious, I get more and more anxious. I could feel a big pressure on my chest, as if the ceiling had collapsed on me.
Man, I'm so bored. My life is too peaceful.
Keiichi-kun talks to me, yawning. Is that so bad? I'd love to have a peaceful life that would bore me.
I don't. I wish some kind of big event would happen, like aliens coming to attack us or something. I'm not saying I'd like to have something like that every week, but at least at the end of every month or so. Oh, and that doesn't include our monthly test.
If aliens really did come, destroyed the Earth and burned all of Hinamizawa, would you be satisfied? Would you?
No, that's not what I meant. I'm just saying that I want for some kind of excitement because I'm so bored.
He had no idea of what I've been going through, of course, and that's why he says that. But I was still irritated by his insensitivity. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't be satisfied with such a peaceful life. He never has to doubt that today and tomorrow will be as fun as yesterday. I was all too aware that boring and peaceful days could be destroyed all of a sudden. I knew that boring and peaceful days could come to an end all of a sudden because your mom wanted to divorce your dad. I knew that you could feel like you didn't belong anywhere in your own house because your dad had gotten a new girlfriend. Even so, you had to repeat the same kind of day over and over again. That's why I want to live every day happily in order to be prepared when the world comes to its end.
I'm jealous of you, you know? You look so happy all of the time. I wish I had that kind of skill.
You're jealous of me, huh?
How do you do it? How do you live every day not being bored, but being happy? If it really is a skill, I'd love to learn how.
That's easy. All you need to do is realize.
Realize what?
There's no way he could realize it. And it was probably better that he didn't, because that meant he was truly happy. You just need to realize that your happy days will one day come to an end. The three of us walked home from school like we always did. Mi-chan said goodbye to us at the corner of the street where she took her separate way home. She walked away, waving, but I chased after her. Mi-chan!
Atropos with the $2, and then I realized. Oh, boy. What?
Mi-chan apparently thought she dropped something, and she looked around to see what she dropped. I almost forgot to tell you. I saw Shi-chan and Kasai-san yesterday at the coffee house. And I picked up something that Kasai-san dropped while he was there. Of course, he hadn't dropped anything. I was lying. If I could meet him, I'd just show him whatever, tell him I thought it was his, and apologize for my mistake.
Oh, well, thank you then. I'll send it over to him in that case.
I'd like to give it back to him in person. Mi-chan looked surprised. I couldn't blame her. I met him only once. It's weird to want to give something back in person to someone you barely know.
Well, that's alright, but why?
Oh, he had this cute beard and these cute sunglasses. I'm so crazy about cute things. Oh. Could I fudge my true intentions with my cute mode? I tried it anyway. Mi-chan usually takes words at their face value, and indeed she seemed to buy it.
Please don't pull out his beard and take it home with you.
So, do you think I can meet him?
Well, I have no idea if he's busy or not.
I'll ask him when he's coming to Hinamizawa next. I needed to know when as soon as possible. Of course, I wasn't going to say I wanted to meet him today, but at least tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
What are you guys doing?
It seems like Rena found a new love.
No. Oh.
Really? How interesting. I want to hear about it too.
I didn't want her to leave it up in the air, so I told her I think I should give it back to him as soon as possible. I'm sure he's looking for it too. Michan said okay twice and walked away, waving. I hadn't yet thought about how I was going to ask for help when I would meet him. He seems to be in a higher position than Rina-san and her partner. If he agreed to help me, it would be very encouraging. But there was a possibility that he'd tell me he didn't want to interfere in other people's private matters. He could just say the whole thing was another love triangle between a father, his daughter, and his lover.
Bye, Rena. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. I said goodbye to Keiichi-kun and walked home alone. After Keiichi-kun was gone, everything went quiet, and my head became clear. What I needed at that moment was quiet time to think about what I should do from then on. I shouldn't depend on Kase-san to solve my problem. He'd most likely decline my request, so I'll have to think about some alternatives. It's probably better that I just do that. A love triangle between a father, his daughter, and his lover. Those words bothered me because I've seen an unhappy triangle like that before. That sort of thing had happened to Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun experienced it last year. He fought for his sister in a triangle with his aunt. It was the same situation as mine. I'm trying to fight to protect my father. Satoshi-kun fought alone. Nobody helped him. All I did for him was give him my sympathy and my compassion. I didn't think I could do anything more than that. I felt sorry for him, but I didn't really help him out. Irresponsibly, I tried to cheer him up, and I probably told him something that I thought would make him feel better, but that hurt him instead. I recently realized how much I hurt him with my insensitivity, because Keiichi just hurt me the same way. I'm going down the same path Satoshi-kun went last year. I feel like I'm experiencing deja vu, an unusual repetition. Would that mean that I'd be the one who gets demoned away this year? I should be okay. I wasn't thinking about running away from Hinamizawa. Was I? I wasn't thinking about running away from Hinamizawa, but I thought about running away from my home many times. That's why I made the place I could escape to in the garbage dump. That dump happened to be in Hinamizawa. But what if it wasn't? Running there would be the same thing as running away from Hinamizawa. I shouldn't think like that. Oyashiro-sama will get mad at me. Oyashiro-sama is really scary. I saw flickering lights in my head. Oh no. Every time I tried to remember that time, my mind would stop working properly. I remembered the vivid colors of my psychoactive drugs. The flickering lights and clouds started spreading in my head. They were so bright and annoying. Don't try too hard to remember. Don't try too hard to remember. No. I couldn't stop the flickering lights in my head. I couldn't have that feeling. I had to fill my heart with another feeling. Yeah. There was no time for these crazy flickering lights in my head. I had to think about what I should do when Kase-san declined my request for help. I had to protect my father from Rina-san and that bad man. Wait, why was I still calling her that? Rina is Rina. Rina. She's a bad person who deceived my father and tried to bring us unhappiness. Bad people bring bad things into the world without even doing anything. They're different from the other 90% of people who aren't bad. If you let them loose, they'll even ruin the people around them. When you have one bad tangerine in a box, it spreads its fungus to the other tangerines around it. That's what bad people are like. I couldn't remember how Satoshi-kun resolved his triangle last year, but I could still feel the flickering lights in my head. They're still flickering. 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 Just as the swirl of flickering lights were making me dizzy, I saw in my house. I also saw Rina-san's scooter parked by the side of the gate. The moment I saw the bike, the flickering lights disappeared and I regained control of myself. Rina-san spent the night last night. She told me that she had to work today in the evening, so she should be leaving soon, but I didn't want to be around her, even for the little while until she left. I said, "I'm home," real loud, rushed into the house, pretended that my friends were waiting outside, and rushed out of the house. But Rina-san stopped me. "Hey, Reina-chan, you're home." Hello." This was the first time I thought Rina-san's smile was ugly. It only stood to reason. I had realized the scheme she was hiding behind the smile. "Your father and I went to Gogura for lunch today. There's a restaurant there that makes delicious Indian curry." My father poked his head out of the living room, and he says, "I want to go there again next time we go. I really liked that curry." I wondered if he meant with me next time or with me and her. Anyway, I hate it when Rina-san says "your father." "We bought you some curry home from the restaurant. Try it later. It's very good." "Have you heard of that restaurant, Reina-chan?" I did know the restaurant she was talking about. I saw it in a magazine. It's a new restaurant that just opened recently. I also remembered that it was an expensive restaurant. The amount of money they spent on the take-home curry alone must have been enough to cover the cost of all of our dinners for several nights. Since I was aware of what was in the bank books, it was hard for me to stay calm. "I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Rina-san." "Reina-chan, your father and I would like to talk about something with you."
I'm sorry, but my friends are waiting for me, so I have to go. Oh, we're going to go treasure hunting at the garbage dump again.
You really like treasure hunting, huh? I'd like to go there sometime.
Well, I've got to go. Bye.
Every time Rina-san moved her arms or head, the scent of her perfume struck my nostrils. I hate the smell of her perfume, so I couldn't stay there any longer. I rushed out of the house and started running to get away from her perfume. The rubber band inside me, the one called Rena, was stretched all the way to its limit. I'm pretty sure I'd explode and go crazy if the rubber band broke. I didn't want to feel like that inside my own house. My house was supposed to be the place where I could open my heart freely. I ran away. I ran away from there. I ran farther and farther away from there because it was no longer a place I belonged. It's not that I had a destination in mind. I was just running away. I was running to escape to a place where I did belong. Didn't I decide to fight against that woman? Didn't I decide to fight against her either by myself or with my father? But then, once I saw her fake smile, a chill ran up my back. It was like I picked up a stone, found a carpet of bugs underneath it, and put it back on the ground in a hurry. I rushed out of the house as fast as I could. Did I want to fight it? Or did I want to run away? Was I just choosing to spend a peaceful time at my hideout, believing that tomorrow would be the same as today? I couldn't do that. I didn't know when they'd spring their trap. I couldn't afford to waste any time. I knew that deep down. I knew that, but I just wanted to run away. I couldn't stop myself from running away. And so I did run away. At times like this, the mattress in my hideout would feel so soft. That I knew. The cries of the Higurashi were soothing to the ears. They sounded as soft as my mattress. They were like music. They didn't force any feelings upon me. They cried as if to tell me to just be who I am. It was always so quiet here that I immediately noticed the purr of an engine coming closer. People used to come here and make lots of noise during the dam conflict, but now nobody really comes here. This is a place forgotten. So it was rare to see somebody come through here at all. I sat on the roof of an abandoned car and waited for the intruder to go away without looking their way. But the purr of the engine stopped. I'm not stupid. If it stopped, I knew exactly who it had to be. I heard the person calling me, but I ignored it once. The person came closer, making it harder for me to ignore her, and she called my name again. I turned around this time. Rina-san. Rina-chan, are you hard of hearing? I'm sorry. I guess I couldn't hear you because of the wind. She seemed to buy my poor excuse. She smiled and said, "Yeah, it happens sometimes." Are you here alone? Where's your friend? I'm playing here alone. Well, it's rare for a girl your age to play alone. Rina-san stretched and looked across the huge garbage dump. I can't believe people throw so much scrap out here. Did you know? There used to be a place near Hirosaka where people threw tons of abandoned cars without wheels. I wasn't interested in Rina-san's old story, but I pretended to listen and nodded. She doesn't take this road to go back to Okonomiya. I guess she knew I'd be here and came by to see me. What did she want? It was obvious that she was just trying to make conversation. She probably took it personally when I avoided her earlier, which must be why she was here to butter me up. It'd be better for her not to have any conflicts with the daughter of the man she's seeing, no matter what the intention of seeing him is. In that sense, it was a reasonable action for her to take. While I listened to her old story, all I could think about was when she was going to leave. Didn't I have to fight against her? Didn't I decide to fight against her? Didn't I find out her plot at the coffee house in Okonomiya? Didn't I find out that this woman is squeezing money out of my father when I looked inside his cash box? I know who you are. Please leave my father alone. How easy it would be if those 2 sentences could solve the problem. She'd probably deny it. Even if I told her about what I heard at the coffee house, I have no evidence of her plot. If she said she did it because the vulgar man was threatening her, there would be nothing I could do. But I know this woman is a bad person. I know something horrible will happen in the near future if I waste time like this. A strange, tense feeling started coming over me. But I didn't know how to let it out. As the feeling started running high, I became unable to stand the smell of her perfume. I wanted to put a certain distance between me and her, so I climbed down the slope of the scrap heap. I kept going down and down, and down the slopes of the garbage dump. When I turned around, I saw her coming down as well, muttering. Was she following me? In order to run away from her, I started running down the slope all the way to the bottom, went around behind some trash piles, and arrived at the front of my hideout. My escape was meaningless. Not only was she going to catch up with me eventually, all I did was let her know the way to my hideout that nobody's supposed to know about. I wanted to make sure that she never saw my precious hideout. I was about to leave, but then she appeared. Wow, this is cool. It's like a secret base.
And this is my secret hideout. Nobody comes here, and nobody can hear us.
I felt strange hearing myself say that. So this is your secret hideout, huh? I'm honored to be invited here. She must have thought I told her my secret because she was worth sharing it with. She looked happy. She found the station wagon, looked inside of it through the window, and went all ooh and ah excitedly. This is a secret place that nobody else knows. I felt like my consciousness was separating from my body, like I was floating. But it didn't feel good, like when I drank amazake. It was more like being carsick. I felt like I was going to throw up. My brain was probably secreting some chemical in order to avoid facing the reality that I'd have to stay with this woman, that I couldn't run away from her. But even if my brain tried to avoid recognizing it, the reality in front of me wouldn't change. Reina-chan.
Yes?
What's wrong? Are you feeling okay?
Yes. I'm fine.
I inhaled fresh air and pulled my consciousness back to reality. I didn't feel like throwing up anymore, but I still felt off balance. I leaned onto a scrap of garbage to keep my balance. I like you, Reina-chan. Do you like me? What are you talking about all of a sudden? I said that because I didn't want to say that I like her. I've been seeing your father for quite a long time now, and we've been talking about many things, you know. I needed to stop feeling like this. Get up, Rena. I heard something like this before. A part of me was trying to understand what this woman was trying to say, but another part of me was trying not to. I felt as if her words were bouncing around in my head, and I started having a headache. We had a serious talk about our future the other day. You know, about our life together and so on. What? You like Uncle Akihito, don't you, Reina? So your father and I, what's going on? Mother? What are you thinking about, Rena Ryuku? This is an important moment. You're having a one-on-one battle with Rina-san. No. Mom. What about my dad? What about me? I don't want you to divorce him. I don't want you to get remarried to anybody else. No,
Please don't divorce him. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you get remarried.
I'm not gonna let you get married to my father. What? I don't care if you go out with him, but I'm not going to let you get married to my father. She must not have thought that I'd say it straight out like that. She looked stunned. After a while, she broke the silence with her laughter. I thought you might reject me, but I didn't think you'd say it so straight out like that. You thought I might reject you? I'm surprised you even noticed that I was doing it. Of course I did. You always ran away whenever you saw me. You thought I didn't know? That's why I hate kids. She frowned, revealing her ugly self. It should have been the first time I saw her face like that, but I wasn't surprised at all. Her face had looked like that to me from the beginning. I wanted to get along with you if I could, at least on the surface, but I guess it's hard to do that now that since you hate me so much. What do you hate about me? I'd like to know for future reference. Everything. I hate everything about you. I hate your smell, too. One vicious word came from my mouth after another. I didn't have wings, but I felt as if I was flying up into the sky. I felt weird and uncomfortable, but also exhilarated. I felt as if I was letting another me use my body. I was in the middle of a disastrous battlefield, but I felt like it wasn't even my business. That's just fine with me, because I hate you too. I guess we're even. You little fucking brat. You better shut your fucking mouth or I'll make you. Never come to my house again. I'll never let you get married to my father. I don't need your permission, you know. Well, why don't you try and stop your father from remarrying? Let's see what happens. I think you're wasting your time, though. She didn't look intimidated by me at all, and that made me feel a little intimidated in return. Why was she so confident of her absolute control over my father? She had to have more confidence to be able to act as fearless as this. She must have something tangible. Before I asked her what it was, she told me herself. I'm pregnant. You're lying! I'm not lying. It's true. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a big lie! She has to divorce because she got pregnant. She has to get married because she got pregnant. That's a lie. That's a big lie! I'm a Christian, so I can't get an abortion. He'll just have to accept it. Plus, we had sex with marriage in mind. He made me pregnant. If he changes his mind and takes no responsibility, it's going to be a big mess, you know. That was your plan, wasn't it? I overheard it. I heard the conversation you had with that man, Tetsun, at the coffee house. I know you started seeing my father for his money. I know you call him your husband in Hinamizawa. I know he's just a big catch for you. I know everything because I heard it from Kasai-san. I know you do Badger games, too. Oh? You knew? Well, well, well. Before I knew it, Rina was standing right in front of me. We glared at each other with our faces almost touching. So, Reina-chan, you know everything. And what are you thinking you're going to do? Don't come near my father ever again. What if I refuse? You wanted to talk to me at your secret hideout, right? I kind of knew what you wanted to talk to me about. You brought me to your secret hideout, where nobody knows, and nobody can hear us, right? Yeah, you're right. Nobody knows about this place, and nobody can hear us here. Nobody comes here because it's a place forgotten. Our faces were so close to each other that our noses could almost touch. I knew what I was talking about, but I didn't know what would happen next. I couldn't back down now that I've come to this point. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I should do. Come on, let's not do this. Let's be friends again. Rina started laughing and slapped me on the back. My expression didn't change, and I kept staring at Rina, but I didn't notice her real intention of putting both of her arms around my neck. The tension broke, already stretched thin, and Rina squeezed my neck hard. I was openly hostile, but I didn't realize Rina's evil intentions until she started choking me. You little brat! I'm so close to getting millions of yen! If you at least pretended to get along with me, I would have given you a good allowance! But you just can't keep your fucking mouth shut, can you? You got some fucking nerve! A brat like you should die! I tried to pry her hands off my neck, but I didn't have the strength to do so. I didn't want to kill you, but I'll probably never get as big a catch as your father again, so I don't mind killing you for millions of yen. I was going to disappear after I got that money anyway. This is what you get for talking back to me. The world around me got darker and darker. I'd never known an evil intention like this, namely the intention to kill me. It didn't scare me, though. That's because being scared is a feeling that people use to express how they feel when they see wildfire on the other side of a river. People on the island with the wildfire, with their deaths right in front of them, they don't get scared. If I loosened my grip on her hands even a little bit, she'd crush my throat. This was a simple competition to see who was stronger. Rena wanted to get into the most advantageous position, so she tried to push me down to the ground so that she could mount me. If I let her do that, I wouldn't stand a chance. I tried to keep my current position, but I was losing a lot of energy by being choked. It was only a matter of time before Rena could push me down. I lost my balance on purpose. I tried to fall backwards in order to put her off balance. I couldn't hold my breath for long enough to keep up that strength competition, so I had no choice but to take that chance. We fell onto the ground, tangled together, but as Rena was strongly determined to kill me, she didn't even take her hands away from my neck after she fell. However, my action made Rena loosen her grip on my throat. It wasn't loose enough for me to break free from her grip, but it gave me a few moments to use my hands for something other than stopping her from crushing my throat. If I hadn't taken the chance, I would have been done for. That's why I tried to literally seize my chance. I moved both of my hands on the ground to seize that chance. I felt a piece of broken glass on my right hand. That was truly my chance to literally save myself from the brink of death. I cut Rena's wrist deep with the piece of glass. Rena tried to endure the pain for a few seconds, but pain that severe from someone so cornered soon broke her will. She let go of my throat to cling to her bloody wrist. I used that moment to roll away from her. It fucking hurts! She screamed, both in pain and also to try and intimidate me again. It didn't work anymore, though. Intimidation only works on the opponent when the opponent is hesitant to fight. When you're already in a fight, screaming like that means nothing more than letting the opponent know how badly you're hurt. I no longer had any hesitation. I had learned from Rena. She taught me what I had to do in a situation like this. That's right. This is my secret hideout.
I know every single piece of junk in here.
Maybe I knew that a day like this was coming. Was it just a coincidence that it was there? I had pulled out a meter-long lead pipe, not at all surprised to see it there. I raised it up high and brought it back down. There was no way Rena could block this hard and heavy lead pipe with just her arms. She'd probably tried to block it with the palms of her hands in order to take it from me, but her long nails wouldn't let that happen. Unable to catch it the way she wanted, she broke her fingers and some of her nails came off too. Her scream made me realize that I had the advantage, an advantage I would have to keep. If I didn't, she'd just turn the tables just like I did, and then she'd choke me to death for sure. Stop! Stop it! Wait! Rena shielded her head with her arms, but it didn't help. All that would change is that I'd break her arms before I broke her face. I'm serious! Stop it right now! I'm serious too.
Die! 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 You should die! Yeah, that's right. I should have done this a long time ago. I didn't need proof. I didn't have to talk to anybody. That's stupid. That's nonsense. I should have done this a long time ago. If I had done it a long time ago, my father wouldn't have been deceived. I could have protected him. I could have protected my family. I could have protected my life. I could have been myself. My mother wouldn't have divorced my father. I could have stayed happy. I wouldn't have had to be unhappy. I'm going to recapture my happiness at this moment.
I'm going to win back my happiness. I'm not going to cry for misfortune. I'm not going to give in to a fate of unhappiness. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to seize my happiness right now with my own 2 hands. Rena tried to run away from me, but as she no longer had the use of her hands, it made it difficult for her to stand up to escape, especially since there were scraps of junk everywhere on the ground. After all, this is my hideout. This is my territory. Nobody can run away from me here. She tried to climb up the slope of garbage, slipped, fell, and rolled all the way back down. She didn't stand up or move. Her eyes were open, and her neck was bent at an unnatural angle. I didn't know how to make sure she was dead, so I kept looking at her opened eyes for a while. She could be faking it for all I know, but she didn't close her eyes no matter how long I waited. I scooped up a handful of sand and threw it on her face. She still didn't close her eyes. Thud. The lead pipe slipped out of my hand and hit the ground. When I tried to pick it up, I realized how heavy it was, and I was surprised that I was wielding it as though it was a knife. I was sweating all over. The cold wind felt good on my skin. The cries of the Higurashi were calming me down and healing my soul. Rina was just like a broken dummy now. She had become a piece of junk. I'm the owner of this land of junk, and I've defended it from her intrusion. Now she was a resident of this junkyard. I didn't feel bad about killing her. In fact, I felt rather fulfilled that I defeated the evil woman who had deceived my father. I started breathing slowly and calmly, and I regained enough energy to analyze the situation. I'd have to hide her body. First, I had to get rid of her scooter. I climbed up the slope and kicked her scooter down the hill. It rolled down the slope, making a lot of noise, and blended in with all the junk as it stopped, like it was there from the beginning. I went back down the slope and started dragging her body to my hideout. It should have taken as much effort as dragging a 50-kilogram sandbag, but it felt lighter than that. It was just a sandbag, yet it brought disaster to my family. I didn't lure her here in order to kill her. Or did I? Maybe I just didn't notice that I had that intention deep down in my heart. But even so, I felt like this was the best and most expedient solution. There was no better solution than killing her. How wasteful to depend on someone to help me, to wait for the day to come when they will. I remembered the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt that happened last year. I had no doubt that Satoshi-kun murdered her, but I've never been as convinced as I am right this moment. How could he have saved Satoko-chan, other than by killing his aunt last year at that time, in that circumstance? My situation was much the same as his. How could I have saved my father, other than by killing her? If I was planning a murder, I would have been under a lot of pressure and stress. But for better or worse, the moment came to me out of nowhere. That's why I believe I solved my problem with as little trouble as possible. Now that she's gone, will anyone become suspicious about her disappearance? She was an irresponsible person who skipped work at her own convenience, so I didn't think anybody would get suspicious when she'd disappear one day. She was a big mess from the start. People will think she went into hiding because she got into deep trouble with someone. I didn't need to fabricate an alibi. All I needed to do was get rid of her body. It took me a while to figure out how to do that last part. Hiding her body would be very risky. But my brain had become so calm that it did some calculations and came up with an answer right away. Yes, this place is still the safest. This is a place forgotten. Nobody comes here. Nobody knows this place is here. I knew that because I'd been spending a lot of time here. Compared to taking the risk of carrying her body to some other place, it was a lot safer to just hide it here. But it wasn't perfect yet. This place wouldn't remain a secret forever. I could hide it here for now, but I'd have to come up with the perfect way to make it completely disappear. It's a lot easier to think about than thinking about how to make Rina break up with my father. I stuffed her corpse into a broken refrigerator in a trash pile. I wanted to cover the refrigerator with dirt and bury it, but that was too easy. I had to chop up the corpse into pieces and make them completely disappear. I felt like it got dark all of a sudden. No, it didn't get dark all of a sudden. I just didn't realize that it was getting dark until just then. I could hear thunder from a distance. It might rain soon. I could use some rain. It'd wash Rina's dirty blood into the ground. I should go home. I should think about what I'd do tomorrow. I was going to stay right beside my father until he forgets about her. He might be hurt at first, but we're going to recapture our happiness for sure. Our happy, peaceful life. My body was heavy with exhaustion, but I also felt fulfilled because I took a very important first step today. I'll keep taking one step after another. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'm not going to cry until I win back my happiness. I'm not going to cry again. No, I'm pretty sure we've heard about Watanagashi. It's just, yeah, it hasn't happened yet, though. We're before Watanagashi. You don't need to get remarried. That was the first thing I said after I got home. My father looked stunned. He noticed the sad tone in my voice and realized that I didn't agree with the idea of his remarriage. He looked down.
I understand. I know how you feel, Reina. I should have talked about it with you first, and...
That woman is lying to you about her pregnancy.
Don't talk like that. Rina-san is...
I'll tell you the truth. That woman and a guy called Tetchan are a team of bad people. She went out with you only because she was trying to get our money. My father didn't get it right away, of course. He looked upset instead because I called her that woman. I should have chosen my words a little more carefully, but I think I told him the truth clearly enough. I told him everything I heard and saw at the coffee house. As I expected, he defended Rina anyway. I was upset, but at the same time, it made me certain that there was no other way than to kill her. I felt the pressure of my shoulders lessen for some reason. My father thought he needed my approval for his remarriage, so he held back his anger and put a fake smile on his face instead.
Hey, Reina. Let's sit down with a cup of tea and talk. I'm sure you'll understand once you hear me out.
A tamed animal is still tamed, even after the owner is dead. That's okay. I'll open the gate anyway. Even a tamed animal will notice one day that he's no longer in captivity. That's not something that I could teach him. He had to realize it on his own. I couldn't stand his fake smile anymore, so I left the living room. Time healed the pain from the divorce. Time heals any kind of pain, just like how dripping water will eventually bore a hole through solid rock. I did what I could do. Now I'd have to wait. But the day I was going to wait for came earlier than I expected. At midnight of the following day, we had a visitor. It was that Tetchan man, Teppei Hojo. Teppei didn't even knock on the door to get in. He broke into the house by smashing the window. At first, I thought he came here to ask us about Rina's whereabouts, but I was wrong. The real reason why Teppei came here was because it was their plan. It was the last stage of their badger game. Rina was probably supposed to be in bed with my father at that time tonight. Teppei must have wanted to show up and catch them sleeping together. Teppei looked around the house, but he couldn't find Rina. He didn't change the plan, though. He grabbed my father by the collar and started yelling threats. He showed my father a certificate of marriage to Rina and shouted at him saying, "You got my wife pregnant. How are you going to take responsibility?" My father had no idea she was married. He looked shocked. My father's a short guy who's faint of heart. He just let Teppei do and say whatever he wanted from beginning to end. I looked at them from a distance coldly. The more Teppei yelled and threatened my father, the faster he'd wake up from his bad dream. This was medicine for him. Teppei was just cutting out the cancer that I was going to depend on time to do, and he was doing a great job of it. I waited to help my father until I was sure that he had finally awakened from his bad dream. I told Teppei that I had something very important to tell him, and took him outside.
So, what do you want?
Has Rina-san come back to Okinomiya since yesterday?
Hmm?
As a matter of fact, she's hiding somewhere.
What? I don't get it.
Rina-san told me to take you to her when you came to my house.
Huh? The fuck is Ritsuko thinking?
Teppei followed me without hesitation. We walked in the dark with a flashlight to the place where nobody comes and nobody can hear us, the place forgotten. He asked me many things on the way, but I couldn't answer any of them. I just told him to ask Rina. The way I said it seemed to make him think that Rina was going to betray him and get married to my father for real. Even though he was breathing heavily in a rage, he walked right behind me without any suspicions. I knew this day was going to come very soon, so I was well prepared for it. We reached the place where I originally planned to bring him, and I turned off the flashlight all of a sudden.
Oh, what's going on?
Everyone gets nervous when the only light in the dark goes off, but this is my territory. I didn't need any light.
I could feel my surroundings even better with my eyes closed. I grabbed the big hatchet I'd hidden in a bush and lifted it up high. I'm sorry. I guess the battery went out. Hold on a second.
Okay, hurry it up.
I purposefully sounded weak and helpless while I raised the hatchet into the air.
Oh, I got a lighter. I'll just fire this baby up.
Tepe found a lighter in his pocket and lit it up. He probably couldn't understand the sight illuminated by that small light. He saw a girl lifting up a big hatchet right in front of him. Tepe's eyes went wide. He didn't understand what was going on, but he understood that his life was in danger. And yet, he must not have been able to think fast enough to deal with it even though he understood what he should do. Even if he could think fast enough and blocked his head with his arms, it wouldn't have meant anything. I knew Tepe would come to my house eventually. That's why I prepared for that day. I just didn't think that preparation was going to bear fruit tonight. I chose my weapon very carefully. I planned when, where, and how I was going to attack him. And so, there can only be one result. The hatchet cut deeply into his forehead. I felt an indescribable vibration through the hatchet when it hit him, and this told me that I broke his skull. He bragged about how good he was at fighting at the coffee house, but he sure went down quickly when faced with a murderous weapon. He was done in by a single blow. Tepe slowly fell to his side with the hatchet in his forehead. He looked like a victim in a B-movie. I killed this big guy with just one hatchet. He was probably quite experienced in the world of violence. But I was better than him when it came to killing. Why? Because I've killed someone before. It's all done now. The bad people who deceived my father and tried to rob him blind are all gone. I did what I had to do in order to protect my life. If I had this much courage and determination when my mom told me about the divorce, I might have killed Akihito. If I did, I would have taken the life of only one. Because I couldn't do it back then, I've had to kill 2 people in the last 2 days. Rena, let's finish it up. There's already a place to hide his body. I took care of everything. My hands were wet, so I shone the flashlight at them. I thought it was blood, but it was just sweat. Even so, I still felt uncomfortable and shone the flashlight at my hands several times. I did all this in order to be happy. I did all this so I should be happy now. I tried so hard that I got blood on my hands. I wanted to get credit for that from him. Oyashiro-sama, let me ask you a question. I can finally rewind the time back to the day everything started to go wrong, can't I? I'm going to stay in Hinamizawa. I'm going to live happily with my father forever. It's rare to see Rena sleep in class.
Oh, wait. Back to the white text. Sorry, I just got so used to doing Rena narration. It's rare to see Rena sleep in class. She isn't the kind of girl who sleeps in class because of staying up so late. She had to be tired from doing housework or something. Everybody seemed to be thinking the same thing. Nobody tried to wake her up, not even Chie-sensei. She got up for a few seconds and went back to sleep. She swayed back and forth like she was rowing a boat. But she's in class, so I should wake her up, right? I was about to wake her up, but before my hand touched her, Mion gave me a sign not to. Let's let her sleep. She must be really tired today. You're right. I heard a few days ago that Rena lives with her father. She studies during the day, plays a lot after school, and does things around the house after that. I didn't know that. I also didn't know her mother had divorced her father. Mion told me that, and she also told me not to talk about it because Rena's still hurt by the divorce. I didn't even notice that she's been through such a tough time. Rena's the kind of girl who doesn't show her pain to others. She always looks happy and cheerful, but she might be acting that way on purpose. Rena told me that happy days will one day come to an end. She told me that she knew that firsthand. What could she have been through? I had no idea. That's probably why she tried to spend as much time as peacefully and cheerfully as she could. I must have hurt her feelings when I said I was bored of having happy days. When I thought about it, I felt bad for living off my parents, who were both healthy and happy. For that matter, Satoko and Rika-chan lost their parents too. Mion lives with her grandmother, away from her parents, because she needs to learn to be the head of the Sonozaki family in the future. When I realized all that, I felt bad about my situation. You don't have to feel bad about living with your parents. Mion seemed to have read my mind. She said it with a cool expression on her face. A family's the most common community for kids like us to live in, but it's not the only community we have. You mean friends? You're right. Do you think we're as good as family to Rena? Rena does cleaning, laundry, cooking, and shopping, so she must be tired every day. She could spend her afternoon taking naps. But she doesn't do that. She spends her afternoons playing with us. That means... How should I put it? That means we're her best friends. So you're saying we're friends with as much value as family to her? Mion looked stunned, as if she didn't understand what I was talking about. I didn't know what friends meant for you until today, but I believe friends are just as important and valuable as family.
It's actually very easy to understand.
Rika-chan joined our conversation.
The important thing is to have people around you whom you can feel comfortable. Sometimes you call them family, or sometimes you call them friends. It's just a matter of the word you use.
Are friends the same as family to you, Rika-chan?
Yes, they are. I believe they are to Satoko, me, and Rena, too.
I guess that's why we always try to stay together. Do you ever feel lonely when you're with your friends?
They're my family, so I'm not lonely.
Mion nodded in agreement. Satoko was talking with her other classmates, but I'm sure she would nod as well. Rena would too. I'm a little embarrassed. Why? I've been using the word friends, but I don't think I understood its true meaning until today. Friends are more important and irreplaceable than I thought they were. And that's like common sense. So you should take this opportunity to remember that. Yeah, I will. I also recommend that you don't say that again. Kei-chan, you just said something very embarrassing, you know? After all that, Mion still made fun of me. I think I understood a little better why Rena was always so serious about having fun. I want to be her best friend, and I want to do my best to be deserving of her effort. Rena snored. It sounded cute. Chie-sensei let her sleep in class, but she couldn't let her get away with snoring.
Class president, wake her up, please.
Rena, get up. Rena was still half asleep and made a strange noise. Everybody in the class laughed. Rena noticed they were laughing at her, woke up right away, and acted like she wasn't sleeping at all. It looked really funny, and I burst into a fit of laughter. Outside the window, the sky was blue, and the clouds were pure white. It was still June, but it looked like the middle of summer. This perfect weather wouldn't last forever. It could get cloudy and rain all of a sudden. That's why we had to play and raise a ruckus while we still had this perfect weather. The cries of the cicadas sound as if they're laughing at us, because we still have some classes left. Damn it. I can't wait for school to finish.
Keiichi-kun, you look very happy. Did something special happen today?
Nothing. Today is today. Tomorrow is tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I'm just happy that we have the perfect weather today. I don't care about the weather tomorrow. I want to enjoy today as much as I can. When the weather changes, I don't want to regret that I didn't. I learned that from Rena. I learned that peaceful days are the happiest days you can have, and that they're irreplaceable. Mion, what are we going to do for today's club activities? We need something very exciting for the punishment, too. That's the spirit I like, Kei-chan. Because you insist, I'll put you through a living hell.
Keiichi-kun, don't provoke her too much.
Hey, are you scared, Rena? I know you're better than that. Let's show her our true power again. Remember, we haven't brought an end to our last battle. I grinned at her and she grinned back.
I do remember that. Okay, let's do it then. Rena-san, you certainly got me last time. For that, I must pay you back with interest.
This is getting very interesting. It's going to be a blast.
I can't wait for school to finish.
I couldn't wait either, but that time we spent just talking together is also very precious. Yeah, it'd be nice if school ended soon.
They're good kids.
Oh, that achievement. Jesus.
My favorite wine. Satoko went to join the children playing in the schoolyard. Since I didn't feel like going, I decided to stay at home. Most likely, she wouldn't be back until the evening. When Satoko wasn't around, I had ways of spending time without her. Besides, that was what I wanted to do anyway. I stuck my hand deep inside the pile of winter futons in the closet and pulled one out. Next, I filled a stylish-looking glass with ice. The ice made in the freezer smelled of chlorine, though, and didn't taste good. Store-bought ice would be the best, but since Satoko kept asking me what I was using it for, I stopped buying it. But it might be worth spending time to think about a good excuse for that if it meant I would be able to enjoy ice without ever again smelling the chlorine. I filled the glass with mineral water, and then poured a little bit of another liquid into the glass. Watching the color mix into the transparent water was a very pleasant thing. This wasn't the right way to drink it, but I liked it that way. It didn't want to hear any complaints. My body's very convenient, because I can get drunk with only a tiny amount. That's why I dilute the small amount with a full glass of water. And thanks to that, I could enjoy a single bottle for a long time. It wasn't bad if you thought about it like that. I put a cushion on my favorite spot by the window, and with the glass in one hand, I enjoyed the familiar view and the soft wind brushing through my hair. A slightly sweet, ripened aroma tickled my nose. And just when I was about to start enjoying the atmosphere, the annoying one came back. She didn't like this bad habit of mine, and she complained every time I tilted the glass. She started nagging me noisily. Shut up. Be a little more tolerant. I can drink and eat whatever I want.
You can't! Kids aren't supposed to drink alcohol!
I tried to ignore her, but she started making a fuss, as if trying to ruin the atmosphere on purpose. There was no way I could enjoy getting drunk like this. I glared at her and threw the drink out the window. Do you want to know why I'm depressed? I'm depressed because the way I die has been decided. It seemed like she finally understood why I wanted to drown myself in alcohol. You don't have to feel down. I get to die instantly, so it's not that scary. My body will be burned and cut in pieces, but I'll be able to die instantly.
But not yet.
I know. Not yet. When am I going to die again?
I think it's the night of the 25th of June.
It's about a week after the Watanagashi festival. Well, that sounds reasonable.
Is it my fault?
Of course it is. Are you serious?
Oh.
She was the one who asked me, yet she cried when I told her she was right. Jeez, she's so annoying. Let's keep trying. I'm sure I'll get 6 in a row on the next board game. June 25th. I still had 10 more days. I was going to relax and enjoy those 10 days. I still had some wine left, too. No comment. No comment on all of that.
It had been very hot for the past few days, and the corpses went rotten quickly. Any housewife knows how fast fresh meat can go bad. I know it too. That's why the first thing I did was to dismember the corpses. There was only one reason why I needed to dismember them. I had to reduce them to a portable size, in order to carry them to a place where they'll never be found. When men see the words dismembered corpses, they'll probably feel disgusted because they don't cook. but housewives are used to taking the guts out of fish, and they sometimes even see living maggots. They take the maggots off of the food, or even cook it with the maggots still on. The heat will kill them after all. Women don't tell men what they do in the kitchen because men wouldn't eat the food if they knew. So it didn't really bother me much to dismember them. I was released from all my problems by killing them. Cleaning up the mess was like nothing to me, because I got freedom and regained my happiness. I dismembered the corpses using carpenter's tools, like a saw and a hatchet. I'm wearing a black sweatsuit I bought for today, because I thought I might get stained with blood. Bloodstains don't show on black fabric, and I can just throw it away after it's done. I brought a plastic sheet I found in the dump, because I thought the blood might spread otherwise. If I did the work on this sheet, I could just burn it after I was done. In the end, dismembering human bodies is no different from preparing food on a chopping board. I was very tired from chopping apart 2 adult bodies, but I didn't have a problem doing it. I cut off their arms, legs, and heads, dividing each body into 6 pieces. I heard before that blades get easily ruined by fat when you cut apart a corpse, so I brought many kinds of tools. And I was right. I didn't have to go back and forth between here and my house to get another tool in the middle of work. A long time ago, the construction manager was murdered and his body was dismembered here during the dam conflict. He was cut into 6 pieces in the same way. Well, I had 2 bodies, so there were double that, though. I remembered the main suspect was still on the loose, and the victim's arm he hid hadn't been found yet. I wonder where he hid it. I'd like to ask him. I smiled wryly. Unlike the arms, legs, and heads, the torsos were difficult to take care of. I thought about cutting them into smaller pieces, but I decided against it because I thought it'd be troublesome to clean up the guts. I put each piece in a black trash bag and sprayed on a lot of deodorant. I wasn't sure if that would help against the smell, though. Many bugs flew around me while I was dismembering the corpses. After I finished putting all the pieces into each bag, the bugs were still flying around, but that was just because they could smell the blood. After I cleaned up everything, they were all gone. Now all I need to do is get rid of these 12 black bags. Burning them would be easiest, but I don't think I can burn them to ashes without using a cremator. The best way is to bury them somewhere. Other than the torsos, every piece is small enough to fit in my backpack. I could easily carry them without being noticed. I could throw them into the river running through the dam construction site, but if I did that, somebody would find them for sure. I've seen on the news several times before that a bag with a body part in it was found beside a river. Every time I heard something like that, I always thought the murderer was stupid. I thought about dumping them into the Onigafuchi swamp, but rotten meat floats. I thought about weighting the bags, but there's no guarantee they'd stay down. So that left me one choice: to bury them. There are many unexplored mountains at the end of the abandoned districts around Yagochi and Takatsudo. It's probably best to bury them somewhere in the mountains. While it would be safe to bury them here in the garbage dump too, it's not perfectly safe. And so, I'm going to bury all these bags somewhere deep inside of a mountain, in order to completely erase the 2 of them. My joints hurt, since I've been using muscles I don't normally use. I cleaned up the mess very carefully and got into my hideout, while still wearing the sweatsuit. I laid down on the mattress. I washed my hands carefully, but there was still dirt and blood under my nails. I should take a shower later and wash it off completely. When I say things like disposing of corpses, it sounds like I'm the greatest evil of the century. But that's only true if I get caught. What I did isn't a crime as long as I don't get caught. Plus, I didn't do this because I wanted to commit a crime. I didn't do anything wrong. I did this to protect my father's life and mine. People might speak ill of me, but I don't care about them. In the end, I don't think anybody can really pass judgment on my sins. Sins aren't something to pass judgment on. They're something to confess and to atone for. In other words, nobody can measure the weight of a sin other than the person who committed the crime. Do I regret what I did? Do I feel sorry? No. I don't think I did anything wrong. I truly believe there was no better way than killing them. I'm sure it was the right thing, because my life had already started to change since the night I killed them. A few days earlier, I just came home after killing Tepe. My father was cleaning the room Tepe had thrashed earlier. His eyes were swollen. He'd been crying.
Reina, where have you been?
I was talking with him. I said, Rina-san will never come to our house again. Please leave us alone. Therefore, he'll never come back.
I don't think he'll stay away from us that easily. You should watch out for him for a while, too.
It's hard to explain to him why Tepe would never come back. I can't tell him he shouldn't worry because I killed him. I grabbed ice cubes from the freezer, put them in a plastic bag, and handed it to my father. Here you go, Dad. Your cheeks are swollen. He must have only noticed it just then.
Oh. Thank you.
Don't worry about cleaning up the mess. I'll do it. I'll get the vacuum cleaner.
Reina, he called out to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault. They make their living by deceiving people. You were just one of their targets.
Reina, did you know who they were?
Yes, I found out recently. I didn't tell you because I thought you wouldn't believe me. I'm sorry. He looked down. When he told me about how he wanted to get remarried, I told him that they were bad people and that they scammed others with badger games, but he didn't listen to me. So I was right in saying that he wouldn't have believed me at all. She took advantage of your pain.
I'm a very bad father.
Then he started talking about how he met Rina, as if trying to absolve his guilt. It was when he was suffering the most, and he needed to drink away his sorrow. At a bar he happened to go into, Rina-san was the only one who came to his table. It was her job to be a good listener when her customers talked. Rina must really have been a great listener, and offered words of comfort when he talked about the divorce. If he was emotionally stable, he could have taken it as a kindness that she was only offering at the time. But he was so desperate that he took it the wrong way. After that, the tragedy was inevitable. He wanted to believe that it was destiny, and he glamorized everything about her. It would be easy to laugh at him, and to say that he was just dreaming. But I don't blame him, because being weak is also part of being human. He had plenty of opportunities to grow suspicious of her questionable spending habits, but my father just read even that behavior as an attempt to cheer him up. He bought everything she asked him to, and Rina had landed her catch. He shouldn't have brought his lover to the house where his daughter lived, but he was crazy about her and he didn't even think about it.
I'd forgotten that I was a father first. What was I thinking?
He started crying. I held his shoulders gently. It's okay. You realized it in the end. You're my father no matter what. You're the only family I have. He couldn't stop moaning. We held each other and cried together. The next day, my father got up early in the morning. He was already cooking breakfast when I got up, and he told me,
Your father's gonna get his act together from today onward.
Dad, you should have used salad oil before you cooked them sunny side up.
It's been a long time since I cooked.
He pried off the burning eggs off the pan with a spatula, and he added salad oil to it. It was too late. Doing that just made it an even bigger mess. But I didn't say anything because I wanted to eat his eggs. I waited at the table quietly. He put the burned eggs on a plate and brought them over to me. It looked like he tried to salvage them by adding cheese, but it didn't really work. Still, it smelled good and crispy. It actually stimulated my appetite. Thick cut toast popped out of the toaster. I made coffee with extra milk and sugar because my father liked it sweet. We put everything on the table. It looked terrible, like the cooking class of an elementary school, but to me, it was precious, because my father tried very hard to make it, wearing the apron. Great. It smells good. Hope it tastes as good as it smells.
It might be better that you do the cooking. I feel bad making you eat this.
I'll take care of cooking when you take care of getting a job. It had been a taboo to talk about work in our house. He hadn't worked since the divorce. It wasn't only because of the divorce, though. He just didn't have to work because the settlement my mother gave him was so huge. Plus, I let him be lazy because I felt guilty about the divorce. But my father cleared his wrongdoing by showing repentance to me, and I also atoned for my sin of not doing anything about my mother. by doing what I did the previous night. Now we're free of sin.
I'm going to try to find a job. I'm thinking about going to the Employment Service Agency today.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's not money that he wanted. He just needed a normal lifestyle.
I'm old and not very strong. I'm a bit worried if I can find a job at all.
What kind of job are you looking for?
I'd prefer a desk job, but I don't think a lot of companies would offer one to an old man like me.
I can ask my friend. Michan's the daughter of a big landowner in Hinamizawa, so she might be able to find you something.
No, it's okay. I'll do it myself. I have to man up, you know?
I don't remember the last time we enjoyed breakfast like this. I don't even remember the last time we had breakfast together. For the first time in a long time, the morning light felt refreshing. I wanted to keep enjoying life like this. But unfortunately, I had to go to school. I told him that I'd skip school that day, and I wanted him to take me somewhere fun, but he tried to be a good father and said that I had to go to school. Well, I have to go now.
Okay. Have a good day at school.
He followed me to the front door. I was a bit embarrassed for some reason. He talked to me while I was tying my shoes. He followed me here not because he wanted to see me off, but because he wanted to tell me something.
I've been sad ever since your mother divorced me. But I realized that I shouldn't be sad, because I have you, Reina. I didn't have to feel sad at all.
Dad, that's what being a family's about.
Yes, you're right. Again, I'm not a good father, because I had to learn something that simple and important from my own daughter.
Well, I have to go now. Kate-kun's waiting on me.
Have a good day. Oh, Reina, I'm going to cook dinner tonight. I'll do the grocery shopping on the way back from the Employment Service Agency. Look forward to it. I promise I won't fail like I did just now.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. See you tonight. I left the house. My father saw me off, still in the apron. It was the first step of our new life. I finally regained it. I finally regained everything we lost after we left Hinamizawa. Fwiffy, yes. Rena's dad is, in the manga. My mother wasn't around, but I didn't feel sad because I had my father. The cries of the cicadas sounded as if they were celebrating my new life. The sunshine was bright, and the wind was sending up a nice breeze. The only thing that wasn't nice was the ticking clock. I was late because I spent too much time talking with my father. Kate-kun might already be gone. I don't think he'd be waiting for me that long. But he was there anyway.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning! Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. I usually make you wait, so it's okay that I wait once in a while.
We're really going to be late. We should walk fast, I think.
Yeah, let's walk fast. We might have to run at the end.
Michan might already be gone.
She's waiting for sure. We're friends. We'd never leave each other behind, right? Anyway, did something good happen this morning?
What? Why do you ask that?
Well, you look very happy for some reason. I just thought maybe something good happened to you.
The good mood I was in must have been too obvious for Keiichi-kun to ignore. I had not only my family, but my friends, too. I felt something warm spreading in my heart. Well, I'll tell you what happened this morning. My father made breakfast, but...
What? Isn't that the right way to cook eggs? You use salad oil for making salads, don't you?
What? I have to tell everyone you just said that. What did you say? Those rude remarks are unforgivable.
Fine, bring it. If you're saying that, then you're willing and ready to throw down, aren't you?
Hey, what's going on? Satoko, Kei-chan, why don't you two place an outside bet on our club activities today? It'll be fun.
Michan, what's an outside bet? What is it?
An outside bet means what it says, that Satoko and I would place a bet on each other outside the game. The one who played worse than the other has to suffer an extra punishment besides the normal one.
That means I get to see one of you suffer no matter who loses today.
So, what do you say, Satoko?
That sounds like a wonderful idea to me. Keiichi-san will take a punishment for being the lowest rank in the game and another punishment for losing to me. Ah, how wonderful.
Great! I like your spirit, Satoko. Alright, let's play today's game with their outside bet.
It's more fun to think about punishments than it is to think about the game itself.
It sure is. I can't wait to see how miserable Satoko is going to look after she takes her punishment.
Keep dreaming, Keiichi-san. Ouch! Take that! Stop it!
Stop fighting, you two. The game hasn't even started yet.
Chia-sensei opened the door and came in. Take your seats, everyone. Let's start homeroom, and then you can all go home. Everybody headed to their seats. Mi-chan.
What?
I'm sorry to ruin the mood, but I have to go home after school. I have things to do again today.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry that you have to go. Are you busy with housework or something?
Yep.
Well, this old man has no right to stop you when it comes to housework. I don't do housework myself. Our housekeepers do.
You should help them sometimes. It'll be good training for married life.
Don't worry about that. I already have the kind of skill, to be a good wife.
Mi-chan looks like the kind of girl who tries to stay away from chores as much as possible. But she can actually do everything. That's just who she is. She went through hard times to learn those things. But she acts like she learned them without any struggle. That's also who she is. I like that about her.
What? You going home, Rena?
Then you won't see Keiichi-san go to the teacher's office wearing an embarrassing uniform. What a shame. It's going to be fun. Pity you have to miss it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You went home right after school for housework yesterday, too. Did something happen?
Yeah, kind of. It might take me a few more days.
Well, then I guess you can't join us for a while.
Maybe. I'll try to finish as soon as I can.
Can we help out with the thing you have to do? If it's something like carrying out old furniture, let me know. I can help with that. You redecorating your house? This old man can bring lots of help for that.
Oh, I have an idea. We can make a game out of helping her with her housework. At this rate, the person who doesn't end up helping her will be the winner. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Well, seems like there's nothing we can do. Therefore, I announce Rena Ryugu's withdrawal from the front lines as of today. I order you to take a rest till you finish doing your housework and to return to the front as soon as you've regained your strength. Well, there are many games for 4. Oh, can you play Mahjong, Kei-chan? Yeah. My dad sometimes forces me to play Mahjong with him and his friends from work.
Of course, we're good at Mahjong as well. After that, they fooled around and made a lot of noise, just like they always did. I looked at them and reminded myself that I'd always have a place to return to. I left the classroom with a smile. I was going to Yagochi on my bicycle. I had to find a place to bury the bags with the body parts. Hopefully, I could finish burying all of them today before it gets dark. With that, everything would be over and done with.
I don't like that the back of the tiles are made of bamboo. You guys haven't marked them, have you?
I wouldn't be too sure. Keiichi-san, you sound traumatized by the experience you had with our card game.
Well, I think there are some scratches on them. The cheap ones, But it's more fun when there's an element of doubt, don't you think?
How many reds do you want to use? 6?
Rika-chan sounded professional and it scared me. Oh well. I should start by checking the tiles. Playing Mahjong with my family is different from playing it as a club activity. I have to be cautious. It's possible that one tile is missing or that there's one extra of a particular tile in here. We don't do things like that. Still, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Let's see. Let's put them all face up on the table and check them before we start the game. Come on. Everybody flip their tiles face up. One dragon is missing.
One low pin and one low so are missing too. Oh, one low 1 is missing also.
What's going on? There's so many missing tiles. Oh, I remember. Hold on a second. Mion hit the palm of her hand with her fist, moved her chair aside, and stuck her finger into a gap in the floorboards. She then pulled a tile out of there.
There you go. This is the dragon. I don't remember where I put the other 3. Wait, Mion. Why are there so many tiles hidden in the classroom? Well, you know. She must have hidden the other 3 tiles somewhere in the classroom and forgot where. We couldn't play Mahjong with 3 tiles missing. I suggested playing another game, but Mion insisted that we had to find them and suggested making that treasure hunt our game.
As long as I can make Keiichi-san suffer a punishment, I care little as to what kind of game we play, but to be honest with you, I'd prefer to play something more interesting than that.
I agree. Plus, you're not sure that they're here in the classroom, right, Mion?
No, they're here. Or maybe this old man might have put them in his pockets and left them by the washing machine.
I don't remember. I recommend checking the total number of tiles after we play Mahjong with Mion next time. Everybody except Mion nodded in agreement.
What? You don't want to play our classroom tile hunting game?
In other words, cleaning up the mess Mion made so she could cheat. Do it yourself. Don't use our club activities for personal reasons.
Fine, fine. So, what do you want to do? We can't play Mahjong now. What are we playing then?
Does anybody have any ideas? As our club president, Mion usually decides what we'll play. I couldn't just come up with something on the spot. While we were all thinking, Mion hit her palm with her fist just like she did earlier.
I got an idea. If you don't want to hunt for tiles, let's do a real treasure hunt. What name comes to your mind when I say treasure hunting? Rena, right?
You mean, are we going to the garbage dump at the dam construction site?
I don't really go there often, but the place is large.
I've heard that the place is haunted by the ghost of the man who was murdered there. His body was cut into pieces. We shouldn't go near.
A ghost? I like it. That's even better.
I didn't know there was a rumor like that. I do know that someone was murdered there and that the main suspect is still on the loose. He hid the arm of the victim and it hasn't been found yet, right?
There's a rumor that the construction site manager, the victim of the dismemberment murder case, became a ghost and that he's wandering around the place to find his missing arm. Rika, you don't like ghosts?
Don't tell me you're still scared of ghosts.
I'm a shrine maiden. I can see them even if I don't want to.
Wow, you can see ghosts? If I remember right, I heard those who can see spirits see them as naturally as they do us.
That's utterly ridiculous. I've been living with Rika for a long time, but I've never seen anything like that.
That's just because you can't see them, but I can. For example, when you're asleep in your bed, I always see...
Nipa... Rika! Why did you smile like that? What were you about to say? What do you see when I'm sleeping?
Satoko, I feel sorry for you. You can pretend you're not scared of ghosts during the day, but I'm pretty sure you get scared when it gets dark. I'm gonna have to make a silent phone call tonight just to scare the hell out of her.
Including myself, I don't think anybody really likes going there.
Rena's the only one who does. If Rena finds a ghost when she's in her cute mode, she might take it home with her.
That's so true. She'd say, "Hal, I'm taking you home with me."
It was so easy to imagine that all of us laughed.
Well, let's do it. Let's go treasure hunting. If you find a ghost, you win. You get a point if you find the victim's missing right arm. And you also get a point if you find, anything Rena would like. We can show her what we found to Rena later, and we'll decide who's the winner.
I can't wait to win the game and make Keiichi-san take double the punishment.
Hey, Satoko, are you sure you want to win? That means you're gonna see a ghost. Ooh!
Stop it! You're getting on my nerves.
I don't want to go there. I'm scared of ghosts too.
What do you mean you're scared of ghosts too? Who else are you referring to? I'm not scared at all. Hey, Keiichi-san, stop doing that.
Let's go, everybody. Let's find the ghost.
Woo!
And it'll be over with. Everything will be over and done with. Yes, it'll be over when the Higurashi cry.
So, that's it.
Rena finished making her confession. There was no applause or curtain call. It was a quiet and lonely stage that Rena performed on alone. I think I'd forgotten to blink since her confession started. Everybody else seemed to be feeling the same way. Rena looked at us, like she was a teacher waiting for questions from her students. We noticed that she was imitating what Chie-sensei does at the end of class, and we all smiled bitterly.
So, yeah, from here to the end of this garbage dump scene, this is one of the best scenes in the entire series. And one of the most important in the entire series. So, everybody lock the fuck in right now.
I went to Yagochi earlier to find a place to bury these bags. It was hard to pick a place because I wanted to make sure that nobody would ever find them. I even thought about burying them in my backyard because it might be the safest. But after I thought about it, I knew that wouldn't work. My father might start planting vegetables one day, and he might find them. So it's better that I bury them somewhere in the mountains. Plus, I don't ever want to let her near my father, even though she's dead.
I felt like I did something very bad. Rena's plan was going smoothly. If I'd only hunted for the mahjong tiles instead of insisting on doing something else, this wouldn't have happened. When I looked at the others, they all seemed to be regretting their actions too. If Mion hadn't come up with the idea to play at the garbage dump, if Satoko hadn't found the broken refrigerator, if Rika-chan had convinced us not to go, Rena could have had a few more days, and she could have gotten rid of these trash bags. They never would have been found. Then, what would have happened next? Nothing. Everything would have remained the same. We could have kept having happy and peaceful days. Rena had been through a hard time, but she'd been forcing her fate into a smile for us. The fake smile was supposed to become a real smile one day. None of us were supposed to notice that Rena was going through a hard time. After a while, Rena was supposed to be able to forget the bitter memory of killing these two, and she was supposed to live as if nothing had happened. But now, all of her effort, all of her courage, had been ruined.
I know killing people is a bad thing to do. I didn't want to do this, and I don't want to do it again in the future. But I believe this was the best solution, and I also believe I didn't do anything wrong. I just applied my utmost efforts when God presented me with the equal opportunity to regain my happy, peaceful life. Saying we should accept suffering and live an immaterial life without desires is nothing more than pretty words from those who have plenty. Nobody can belittle my efforts. Rather, they should praise me for what I did. They should celebrate for me. Rena Ryugu fought for her own fate, and she won.
I don't know why I did it, but I interrupted her. I shouldn't have, but I thought I needed to tell her this, so I did. But Rena, why didn't you tell us?
What do you mean?
We're friends, aren't we? Friends are always on your side without exception, no matter what. I thought friends were like family. If you told us about it, we could have helped you. Then you wouldn't have had to get your hands dirty. What Rena told us made me sad. I couldn't help myself from saying that to her. Rena told us straight that she did the best that she could. She told us right to our faces. That's the same thing as saying that. She didn't need us, in order to do the best she could. Kei-chan, you can say that now, but... Wait, let me finish. I believe that friends are there to share both happiness and hardship. If you came to talk to us, I believe we could have done something different, and we could have led you to a better future.
A better future? There's no better future than what I have right now. This is the best possible future.
That's a lie! My shout seemed to scare her a little. I knew that Rena didn't believe that this was the best possible future. She just didn't have any other choice. If she hadn't had any other choices, she definitely wouldn't have chosen this one. I know you don't believe that! Because you're crying!
What? Who's crying? Me? I'm not crying.
Yes, you are! You've been crying the whole time! Haven't you noticed it? In fact, I didn't see any tears in her eyes or on her face at all. But that didn't mean that she wasn't crying. Rena was crying. She was crying because she was driven into a corner after all the hard work she did to become happy. Her tears looked so sad. Anyone who couldn't see those tears wasn't really thinking about her.
I'm not crying. I won't cry. I did the right thing. I made the right choice. There's no reason for me to cry. That's ridiculous. I have no idea what you're talking about, Keiichi.
I know it. You're crying right now! Rena stopped laughing all of a sudden, and she spoke with a cold expression on her face.
Okay. Let's say I did what you just told me. I told you all about my father and that woman. Then what?
Well,
Then what?
Rena had never talked to me like this before. It was as if she was mocking my ignorance, and that made me shut my mouth.
You don't know what happened last year.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. It happened in June of 1982. There was someone who had no choice but to kill a person to free himself from his misfortune.
Satoko gasped.
Keiichi-kun, I don't think you know much about him. About Satoshi Hojo-kun.
I know that he's Satoko's older brother. He's been missing, but people say he transferred. There's a rumor that he killed his aunt for Satoko's sake. Therefore, it's been taboo to talk about Satoshi in my class. Actually, in all of Hinamizawa.
Satoshi-kun was under the same conditions as I was. He just wanted to have happy and peaceful days. He just wanted to live peacefully and quietly with his sister. You've heard about what kind of person Satoko-chan's aunt was, haven't you?
If what I've heard is true, then this is what happened. After Satoko lost her parents, her uncle and aunt got custody of her and her brother, but they were miserable people. Her aunt was especially cruel to Satoko. Satoshi was the kind of guy who wouldn't even hurt a fly. But his aunt probably was the only one whom he didn't have a problem killing. That's how terrible a person she was.
Everybody in Hinamizawa knew about the trouble the Hojo family had. Everybody knew that their aunt was a hysterical and crazy person and that she bullied Satoshi-kun and Satoko-chan. Everybody knew everything. Everybody in our class knew it too. Mi-chan, the future head of the three families, knew it. Rika-chan knew it, and Satoko-chan knew it too, of course, because she was the one experiencing it. The friends you're talking about who knew what Satoshi-kun was going through more than anybody in Hinamizawa. And what happened? Did anybody help Satoshi-kun? No. Nobody did. Mi-chan had the most influence out of all of us, but she made up a lame excuse, saying that it might create a conflict between the Sonozaki family and the villagers. In the end, all she did was hurting him by offering her sympathy. That's not true! Yes, it is! Satoshi-kun knew it too. He knew that you were only pretending to sympathize with him. He knew that you had no intention of helping him. That's why Satoshi-kun started to hate you, Mi-chan. He said that you always told him you were his friend, but after all that, you turned out to be just another Sonozaki. Just another person who bullied the Hojo family. I didn't mean to... You didn't do anything to help him. You rejected his request for help by sympathizing with him. Do you have any idea how much that hurt?
Mion tried to find something to say, but failed to do so. She bit her lip instead.
Rika-chan, you were the same too.
Now Rena was pointing fingers at Rika-chan. Unlike Mion, Rika-chan looked emotionless and empty, just like Rena did.
Rika-chan, you don't have the kind of power in Hinamizawa that Mi-chan does. But your word carries a lot of weight with the old people who come to your shrine, don't they? There was something you could have done for him, but you didn't. Rika-chan, you did exactly the same thing as Mi-chan did. You just pretended to be his friend. All you did was sympathize with him and Satoko-chan. You didn't try to help them out of the trouble that they were in. Can you imagine how cruel and merciless your sympathy was to them? Satoshi-kun wanted help. He wanted somebody to help him. He was at a dead end. He couldn't get out of there by himself. He was sinking all the way down to his neck in a swamp, reaching for help and waiting for someone to grab his hand.
You're right. Rika-chan's voice sounded mature. It was very different from how she usually sounded. I didn't know how to save them. All I could do was offer them some consolation. I'm not going to deny it. Nor am I going to make excuses for my sin of not trying hard enough to find a way to save them.
I didn't know you knew.
Rena gave her a twisted smile. That ugliness caused me to look away.
And Satoko-chan, I don't know if you'll believe me when I say this, but you're weighed down with sin too.
I didn't understand why she was blaming Satoko. I tried to take her side, but I gasped in surprise when I looked at her. She looked like she was accepting the sin that Rena had mentioned. Satoko must have wanted to confess her sin before Rena pointed it out to her. And so, Satoko opened her mouth first.
I don't know if you'll believe me when I tell you this either, but I realized it on my own. I know what my sin is. I see. I realized it on the night that Nini disappeared. I wished I'd realized it while he was still there. I understand how you feel. That sense that it was too late for regrets, right? I feel the same way. It happened to me before. That's why I fought this time. Satoko-chan, I'm sure you can atone for your guilt in the future, because you realized what you did. But that won't bring Nini back. He's not coming back.
Satoko looked down sadly. Usually Satoko would say the opposite. She always said that Satoshi was coming back one day without a doubt. But now, she accepted the fate that he would never return. She accepted it easily, as if she knew it already, because he's her brother.
Do you understand now?
She asked me all of a sudden.
That's how they were in 1982. Satoshi-kun talked to everybody he thought he could help him. He told them that he needed help. He told them what he was going through. He consulted with them. He even came to me, even though I had just moved here at the time. I don't think it was embarrassing or shameful that he did that. People get desperate when they're unhappy. Satoshi-kun tried very hard, but he couldn't do anything about the situation, and he asked for help. He kept asking for help. You said that friends are always on your side no matter what, but this is what friends really are. They're actually just people you hang around with for fun. They don't help you when you need them. Friends are always like that. That's why I decided not to tell anybody when I found out that I was in the same situation as Satoshi-kun. I knew that nobody would help me and that nobody could. I didn't need sympathy. It only makes me feel worse. It's better that I at least have fun at school. In fact, I did have fun at school. I was very happy. I was able to forget about the trouble I had with that woman, even if only for a short amount of time at school. I wish Satoshi-kun could have done that too. If he did, he wouldn't have had to feel constantly hopeless, and he could have at least enjoyed his time in school. He didn't have any choice than beating his aunt to death anyway. I didn't know how to help him at that time because I just moved here. All I could do was listen to him and try to make him feel better. But there might have been something more I could have done. I might have been lazy in thinking about what I could do. But at that time in 1982, I thought I was his friend.
Rena's self-derisive laughter changed into grievous sobs. Her tears gradually wore away at our relationship of trust. Nobody will help me. Friends are just people whom you have fun with. You can't trust them. The more Rena cried, the clearer we heard her voice in her heart. Mion, Satoko, and Rika-chan looked into the distance with sad expressions on their faces. I was the only one who could say anything back to her now. I had to tell her this, and she knew it too. She just needed to hear it from someone. I braced myself to tell her something that might hurt everybody. I understand, Rena. I understand what happened in 1982. I understand that they were heartless, but Satoko also told you this. They realized their sins. They regretted what they did and didn't do. So it should be different this time. They can understand your pain, and they can help you.
You weren't here last year. I'm afraid you don't know what you're talking about.
That's right! I wasn't here last year! I wish I were! If I was here last year, I would have fought for Satoshi!
You're lying!
I'm not lying! I've learned how important friends are since I moved to Hinamizawa. I'll fight for my friends! If I was here last year and knew what Satoko's aunt did to her and Satoshi, I would have given Satoshi the opportunity to beat her to death. I would have done it myself! I would have done it in 1,500 seconds! I wouldn't have even hesitated. I would have beaten her to death with a metal bat!
That's easy for you to say, but you don't know the kind of determination you need to kill another person.
I don't know that. And I don't need to know that either. You know why? Because it's an obligation to help your friends.
You don't understand, Keiichi-kun. You don't know how disgusting it is to kill a person. You can never get rid of the dirt on your hands no matter how hard you try to justify it.
You're right. Killing a person in order to save your friends is such a short-sighted way of thinking. It might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I think things aren't meant to go well when you take care of an evil matter by doing an evil deed. I'm proud of my conviction that I wouldn't hesitate to kill a person for the sake of my friends, but the peace I get by doing an evil deed won't last forever. We all know that by instinct. That's why we all despise evil things, I think.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
She didn't have to tell me that. I was aware that I wasn't making any sense. But for some reason, I could easily imagine a world like that. A world in which I saved my precious friends by committing an evil act. The peace I seized by doing that evil deed didn't last long. It got worse. It ended in a way as terrible as the sin I committed. This was a memory that shouldn't exist. I don't know why, but I know for a fact that it happened in that world of possibility. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. For some weird reason, I couldn't prevent myself from smiling in embarrassment, even in a situation like this. But you know it too, don't you, Rena? You know that you didn't want to get your hands dirty. You're crying because you wanted us to help you, but we didn't. You didn't want to be a murderer. You're lying when you claim that this was the best choice you could have made. That's why you've been crying.
That's not true! That's not true! That's not true! That's not true! That's not true!
You know better than anybody if it's true or not. You've been regretting this from the beginning. Even if you were able to hide the corpses without getting caught, you could have never washed the blood off your hands. How are you going to fool yourself into believing that you won't have to live the rest of your life bearing the burden of your sin? There's only one way to do that. You have to believe that this was the only choice. That means you have to live your life denying your friends, and denying that your friends are worth asking for help. Are we worth nothing to you, Rena? Of course not. You always believed that friends exist to help each other. Your friends were immature last year. That's why they couldn't help Satoshi from his unfortunate fate. But people grow up. We don't make the same mistake twice. We don't want to regret the same thing twice. So, believe me, we're your friends. We're on your side.
So what you're saying is that I was immature too, right?
Yeah, I am. You were immature because you couldn't believe that your friends grew up. But I'm not going to blame you for that. We didn't notice until today that you've been going through such a hard time all alone. People can communicate their feelings only by talking to others. So there was nothing we could do, because we didn't talk. In that sense, it's hard to say it. But we have to admit that this was meant to happen today in order to make your choice the best one for real. We finally talked about our feelings. We now know that you've been distrusting your friends since last year, and that everybody regretted both what they did and didn't do. So now we finally have become true friends.
Finally. But it's too late. We only notice our sins after it's too late.
That's not necessarily true. For example, as your friend, I can understand the things you've done. This time.
What do you mean by that?
I understand that depriving people of their lives is an unforgivable crime.
But I also understand that my friend Rena had no choice but to do this. So I don't think you're filthy. And I'm not scared of you. If something like this happens again, we should talk and think about what we can do together. But this already happened, and I understand that. When I say I understand, I mean I forgive you. I don't hate you for what you did. I said that to everybody this time. I said it to all of my friends. I accept what Rena did. I accept that she had no choice other than to do this, and that this was her last resort after thinking it through many times. So, I'm going to side with her. Kei-chan, of course, if she killed them for money or some other stupid reason, I'd drag her to the police. But that wasn't why Rena did this. She couldn't run away, and she thought it through before she came to this point. If she's guilty of anything, she's only guilty for not talking to us about it beforehand. But I forgive her for that too. I forgive her for coming to this point. Keiichi. So, I beg you all, please forgive me for not noticing Rena's situation and for letting her go through it alone. My sin is that I allowed a day like today to come to pass. Keiichi-san. We're the only ones who know about these bags. If we keep it to ourselves, everything will be fine. Rena doesn't have to worry about a thing. Let's hide them somewhere like she planned. We'll cleanse ourselves with salt later, and that's it! Let's forgive each other for our sins, and then we'll regain our happy and peaceful days. This is it, right? Rena, this is the future you chose, right? This is the best possible choice, right? Keiichi-kun. I jumped on the hood of the abandoned car Rena was standing on, and I reached for her hands. Admit it! This is the world you wanted! This is the choice you wanted to make! But this is something you can't choose by yourself. All of us have to reach for each other's hands, so that Rena can make that choice. In other words, I can't make it happen by myself. I need everybody to reach for each other's hands. So Rena, you need to do it too! When all of us hold hands together, that's when you can go to the world that exists beyond the choice you made. Keiichi-kun, I appreciate it. If you really mean it, but I'm not sure if that's what everybody else wants. A little hand touched mine. It was Rika-chan. Rika-chan! Rena, you weren't filthy. You didn't give up. You seized your fate, even though you had to dirty your hands to do it. I have no reason not to accept you. Rika-chan's small hand was strong, and she spoke eloquently. I know how comfortable it feels to be stained by disappointment at everything in this world, after getting lost in a maze of misfortune. That's why I can understand how strong you are and how hard you fought alone without giving up. I'm proud of having you in my life. I agree with Keiichi. I forgive you for your sin. So please forgive me for mine too. Rika-chan. I'm just a little girl without any power, but I could have fought. I'll not give up on my fate. I'll fight like you did. So I ask you to accept me as your friend. Rika-chan usually acts childish, but now she was like a totally different person. She meant every word she was saying. And then, another little hand reached out to ours. Satoko. Satoko put her hand over mine and Rika-chan's. She didn't say anything, looking down for a while. Rika-chan urged her to speak. Rika and I lost both of our parents. We never cried about it, however, because we have you, a family made of friends. I want us to continue to be a family for you. It's natural to get it all out and confess everything to your family, because, well, they are your family. So I think today was a great opportunity for us. I appreciate that we had the chance to forgive each other for our sins. A family made of friends. Satoko, I like that. I forgive you for your sin, Rena-san. Please forgive me for mine, too. A big hand reached for ours. It was Mion's. I always thought it was my job as the leader of this club to talk about the importance of friends. So I guess I'm not that good a leader after all, huh? Mion. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. Mion still smiled and scratched her head.
Brenna, I'm ashamed of myself, as your friend, and as the club president for not being able to notice what you've been through. I'd like for you to forgive me for that. Of course, I also forgive you for not telling us about it. You couldn't tell me because I wasn't good enough for you. I thought I was trying to be a good leader for you, but I guess I wasn't doing my job. It's my fault. So I forgive you for your sin, Rena. Rena! Now you have all of our hands! We're all ready for you! It's your turn! Reach out for us! Come to us! This is the world you wanted! You have all of our hands right here for you to reach! So don't hesitate! I'm a murderer. I'll get you guys into trouble. Rena, Rika-chan, you don't need to say anything. We're all reaching for your hand! What else do we need to say or prove? Rena, you don't need to say anything. All you need to do is reach out for us! Come on, Rena! This is real! It's not too late! You still have choices you can make! So choose! You can still make it! Come on! It's not too late to start over again! Rena slowly reached out, and her hand touched ours. She didn't hold our hands. All she needed to do was touch our hands to show us her will. Rena chose to live, to share her life with her friends, rather than to refuse them for the rest of her life. I took a step closer to her and firmly grabbed her wrist. It was getting dark, and some stars had appeared in the sky. We all forgave each other for our sins for the first time, and it was a little embarrassing, but Rena's tears made us all cry, and we just kept crying together. We stood in a circle, holding each other by the shoulder and putting our heads together in the middle. We were a family made of friends. We forgave each other, and we were happy together. There's a memory in the back of my mind, but it's not supposed to exist. I tried to save one of my friends in that world. In order to do that, I rejected all of my other friends. I acted recklessly alone, and I brought about the end of the world. The situation we had here is the same as the incident in that faraway world, in that sense that people had been deprived of their lives in order to save one friend of mine. But other than that, it was different. We have Rena, Mion, Satoko, Rika-chan, and myself. Nobody was missing. We were going to regain them. We were going to regain those happy and peaceful days. The road going there might be a little rough, but we'll walk it together. We will. We went to the place in the mountains of Yagochi that Rena had picked for burying the bags. Carrying corpses is a scary thing to do, but it made us united more strongly because of that. Since each part of the corpses is in a separate plastic trash bag, we can tell what's inside each bag by touching it. First, we forced ourselves to laugh whenever we had to touch the bodies, because we were scared, but after a while we got used to it, to the point where we could make jokes about it. Of course, all of that was probably a bluff, but we all tried our best. Mion somehow had detailed knowledge of how to hide corpses, and she told me to dig the hole deeper. Rika-chan helped to carry the bags. Satoko used her talent of setting traps to perfectly camouflage the place where we buried the bags. Me? I was in charge of digging the hole. Rena dug it earlier, but I made it a little deeper. After we finished all that, we walked back to the place where we parked our bicycles, and we looked back at the place where we buried the bags. It was completely unnoticeable. We'd never be able to find the place again once we left for home. That's how perfect it looked. Great. Thank you all for your hard work. We're done here. It's time to go home. Mion said it cheerfully, as if we just finished club activities or something. We had more bags to carry, and we no longer had any burden to carry. We had no more bags to carry, and we no longer had any burden to carry either. We got on our bicycles, but Rena was still standing there, looking into the distance. Hey, Rena.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I caught a cold or something. I feel feverish and dizzy.
Rena's face looked slightly red. Mion touched Rena's forehead, It actually was a little warm. She had a tough day today. She had to go through so many things. She had to find a place to hide the corpses. She had to dig a hole. We caught her with the bags. We talked about our feelings, and we forgave each other. She must be exhausted after a day like that. Rena, you should rest well when you get home.
Yes, thank you. I will.
Rena, we forgave each other for everything, so don't blame yourself anymore, okay?
You were right about me.
What do you mean?
I couldn't fool myself. No matter how hard I tried to justify what I did, I was still scared. Look at me. I'm still shaky even with all the help I got from you. If you hadn't found me with the corpses, I'd have taken care of this alone. I wouldn't have been able to bear the burden. I'm pretty sure I would have been crushed by the pressure.
She said all this with a bitter smile. It might take her a long time to heal from the pain, but it must be 100 times shorter than the time it would have taken if she did all this alone. Rena's home was the closest from here. Rena went her way, and the 4 of us were left behind. Mion made a suggestion. I think we should just forget about today. What do you think?
I agree. I think that it would be the best for Renaissance too.
Rena's a strong girl. If we act like nothing happened, she'll act that way too.
If you keep acting for long enough, it becomes real, right? We'll be able to forget by not talking about it. Our goal is to forget about it completely.
I think we'll keep wondering whether or not the day of reckoning will come for the rest of our lives.
You're probably correct. It's not going to be so easy to simply let it go.
Even if I can't forget about it for the rest of my life, that's fine by me. The most important thing is to keep it in my heart forever. The most important thing is that we don't make her think about it. We nodded in agreement, just as my house came into view. Well, this is goodbye. See you at school. Just like always.
Just like always.
I'll set a perfect trap for you, just like always.
Goodbye, Kate-san.
After I parted with him, I still felt hot and dizzy. It felt really weird. I was even staggering to the front door. I felt as if I was floating in the air, like I just took some very strong cold medicine.
Our Hibaki gave me with the $5. Higu's peak, but I only have friends. I only have friends that would hide a body for me. You would hide a body for me, right, Marcy? Right, chat? Kinda. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, jeez.
Today, something very shocking, something that made me super happy, and something very embarrassing happened to me. I felt as if my heart and mind were about to explode because they were filled to the brim with both happiness and sadness. I don't know whether I made a crucial mistake today, or if I had the happiest day of my life. I don't know which it is, and all I could do was stare blankly into space. I felt frustrated, too. Even though they were my friends, I was caught in the act of abandoning the corpses. But at the same time, I felt relieved that my reliable friends accepted what I did. Those emotions were all mixed up in my heart, and they were equally strong, making it difficult for me to decide what I was feeling. I was losing my sense of balance. It was like the world was warping around me. I heard sounds as if I was in a shower. Everything left me with the feeling of unreality. When those emotions were about to make me lose control, I felt a heat on my wrist. The part where Kage-kun grabbed me earlier started throbbing. My feelings weren't cooperating with me, but the heat on my wrist calmed them down for me. I don't know how to express what I felt when my friends and I held shoulders together in a circle earlier. But the feeling was the only thing I knew to be real. I'm home. As soon as I opened the front door, I smelled it. It smelled really good. My father isn't good at cooking, but he likes to try to cook creative dishes. I remember he used to cook something very challenging whenever he was in a good mood. So this smell was a sign that he felt that way. That's why I always liked this smell. The reason he's in a good mood is because he found a job. And not just any job. He found a job with a company created by friends from his old workplace. They remembered my father and promised to hire him. He told me that some of his other colleagues from the old company are also working there. It must be very encouraging for him to work with people he knows, because he hasn't worked for a long time. The dinner looked great.
Vimbert, thank you for becoming a channel member.
The dinner looked great, in contrast to how it tasted. It was a dinner to celebrate his new life, to show his determination, to regain his bond with his daughter, and to make a clean start. I talked about a lot of things with my father that night. It had been a long time since the last time I talked with him like this. I don't remember how it was, but it reminded me of the days I was still happy, which meant that I'd finally returned to that time. My father still believes that Tepe is coming back one day, so he's still very cautious about locking the doors and windows, and he gets scared every time someone rings the doorbell. I told him so many times that they'd never come back, but I couldn't convince him because I couldn't tell him the reason why they won't. He'll eventually realize that he's free.
Cybernetic Silver, thank you for becoming a channel member.
I'm sure it won't take too long. My heart was full of many, many emotions that day. If emotion could actually burst a heart open, it might happen to me. My brain must have been overworked because so many things happened at once. My head was still fuzzy, but I managed to crawl into bed. I felt like the ground was moving. I totally lost my sense of reality. I remembered that I once felt like this when I got the flu. I might get a high fever tomorrow, but I don't care. I don't care if I get sick tomorrow. I just wanted to enjoy the fact that I took a step towards the future of my own decision. Keiichi-kun told me something like that today. The high fever and the dizziness made me feel frustrated for some reason. But whenever I felt frustrated, I felt the heat on my wrist, too. I grabbed my wrist with my left hand tightly. It made the frustration go away and it brought me relief. Even the dizziness I didn't like before made me feel like I was in a down-filled futon. I was falling asleep in that down-filled futon, on my first night in a new world. This dizziness didn't go away for a few days, but I gradually got used to it. This new world looked like the world I used to live in before, but the sunshine was a little bit brighter, and Keiichi-kun's smile looked a little bit more gentle than before. We made more noise than we used to. We spent every day slowly but in high spirits. What an idiot I am. I underestimated that dizziness and I caught a summer cold in June. I wanted to get better as soon as possible. I shouldn't have taken a day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with them I should have taken a day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with them every day, and that made it hard for me to get better. I finally learned my lesson recently. I don't need to feel frustrated. There's no limit to happiness in this world. As long as we keep wishing for it, it will continue on forever. I don't need to feel frustrated anymore because tomorrow I'll have the happiness I have today. We'll have the Watanagashi Festival next Sunday. Michan tells us that we'll have a lot of fun and that we'll go extra crazy. I really can't wait.
Kitty with the £5 stopped crying enough to send this phenomenal job on voicing that scene. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Why isn't the donation message coming through on notifications, though? That's strange. Jeez. That achievement. Hold on. Huh. Yeah, for some reason it's not popping up in the notification queue. I don't know. That's weird. Letter from the forestry office.
It's still June, yet the air is filled with the cries of cicadas. How is everyone in Hinamizawa doing? The Watanagashi Festival is coming just around the corner. We staff members from the Forestry Service are going to perform a wood sculpting demonstration at the festival. We'll be happy to lend our tools and teach you kids how to sculpt wood themselves. It'll be an excellent memorial gift. Also, we'd like to inform everyone that we're going to cut down trees in the local hills this summer as part of the number XX 4th Forest Landscape Management Project.
Cybernetic silver with the, shit. Is it pesos for MX too? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. It's just because there was another currency that also had that, I think, but I was just trying to remember. Anywho, I cried a lot, but I crowed a lot, but I'm also very scared this can't possibly be the end of this arc. What's going to happen? Yeah, well, we are still not even about halfway through it, so...
This project involves preserving the beauty of the forest by cutting down old trees and planting new ones. The Forestry Service needs volunteers who are interested in helping us cut down the old trees. You can enjoy the beauty of nature under the blue sky while helping out with this preservation activity. The project will begin during summer break, so you can bring your kids too. This will be a good opportunity for your kids to learn about nature and have a valuable experience. The locations of the project are the forests in Takatsudo and the Agochi areas.
Oh. Oh, gee. Oh, dear. That seems like, that seems bad. So, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I actually had this set to be our end point for tonight, but we reached it much fucking quicker than I thought we would. Like, we made it through in half the amount of time I expected. Judging by, like, you know, uploads of the chapter, which is what I usually gauge by. I usually just look at, you know, the compiled runtimes of like long, like no commentary long plays or whatever. And, you know, with that, like all of what we just read in those uploads was like 4 hours, if not longer. So I'm kind of surprised that we got through that so fast. I'm not really sure how that ended up happening. But in that case, what do you guys think? Would you prefer to just have a shorter stream for today? Or do you want me to try to go ahead and read another chapter real quick? Okay. Sounds like everybody's ready for more, so... Sure. Let's do more. Just a little bit. Just a little bit more. She believed that if she kept laughing, that she would be happy. She believed that if she cared about someone, that person would care for her as well. Leaving the sad memories behind, the girl turned forward to face tomorrow. Without being spoiled, without relying on anyone, all alone, to carve a path toward the future. What awaits her? Is it happiness? Is it unhappiness? Tsumi Horoboshi. I wanted to love someone, but the truth is, I wanted to be loved. Our Habaki Gaming with the $2. There's a gloomy squid who needs you to talk more. I wonder what this could mean. I wonder whom you're referring to.
Welcome! Would you like a hot dog? Our shaved ice is the best you've ever tasted. You can have it with strawberry syrup, melon syrup, or Hawaiian blue syrup. Try our takoyaki roulette. The winner's packed with a ton of mustard.
JimPop45 with the $5. I always leave to... What? I always leave two-eyed this time for work. But more for Gloomy. Everyone have fun. Thanks for reading, Mercy, and I look forward to Theories and Art. Thank you. Have a good time at work.
There are also a great many booths at this year's Watanagashi Festival. Anything can become a festival if there are vendors selling food and music for bone dances, I thought. It's still June, but it had been extremely hot the past few days, almost as if it's already summer. When you have a June festival with bone dance music under this kind of weather, the only thing that's missing to make it a perfect summer festival is fireworks. Bzz, bzz. This is Kumagai. Oishi-san. Oh, wait, okay.
This is Kumagai. Oishi-san, can you hear me? Over.
I heard a voice coming from... Oh, wait! Never mind, this is not Keiichi. This is a fucking Oishi.
I heard a voice coming from my portable radio. With this earphone, it looks a little like I'm secretly listening to horse races while on duty. This is Oishi. I can hear you loud and clear.
The town councilors gave us a lot of food. We have oden, yakisoba, pork belly stew, and, some barley tea.
You mean the barley tea we can drink on duty, or the one we can't drink on duty?
Well...
If it's a canned drink, I'll take it. If it's in a cup, don't worry about it.
Roger that. And all the members of the town council are here to say hi. We have the mayor and the head of the Sonozaki family, too.
What, the old bag Oreo's there? Can you tell her that I'm patrolling right now and don't know when I'll be back?
Well, I don't think I can do that for you, sir. She knows you have a portable radio, so she told me to call you and bring it back here. She looks really mad.
I'm sure it'll be a stroke that kills her. Roger that. Tell her with extreme courtesy that I'll be back soon. Please. Oh well. Guess I'll have to go back and mingle with the locals. All of a sudden, a group of kids came running towards me from behind. After a quick look at them, I noticed they were the granddaughter of the old bag and her friends. They occupied a corner of the shooting gallery stall, making a lot of noise. Mion Sonozaki. When acting her age, she's a cute, normal girl. But do I ever hate it when she acts like a member of the Sonozaki family. She'll be the boss of the Okinomiya Yakuza territory in 10 or 20 years, just you wait and see. And while I was thinking things like that, I noticed that Mion wasn't the one taking leadership of her group this time. It was the boy. That boy. I know him. He just moved here recently. The boy from the Maibara mansion. Keiichi Maibara-kun, was it? I heard that the Maibara family's from the city and they're supposedly very rich too. But he doesn't flaunt his family's wealth and he has a good reputation because of that. Even though he just moved here, he's already adjusted to his new school and he's popular with his classmates too. Everyone in the village seems to like him as well. He's very interesting to watch as a person of many moods. Boys of his age sure have a lot of energy. To be young again. Hey, you're up next, Rena. You're lucky it's your turn.
Rena, you okay? Are you feeling sick?
I'm sorry. I guess I just have to pass on taking a shot. Okay, you should take a break for a bit.
So, that would make it my turn, no? Victory shall be mine!
It looked like the four of them were having a good time. The girl called Rena seemed outside of that circle of smiles. Her name's Rena Ryugu. What was her real name? Couldn't remember, but I could check when I get back to the station. Rena's only a nickname. I believe she moved here a year before Maibara-kun did. Her mother divorced from her father or something like that. She's a strong girl who does all the housework by herself. She's a very modest girl, I'm told, which is rare in this era. Unlike Maibara-kun, it seemed like she hadn't really opened up to her friends just yet. They had looked like a group of 5, but there's a distance between her and the others. It's a little sad, you know. Maibara-kun has become a part of the village, but Rena is still by herself. Well, that's just how it looks to me.
Oishi-san, the chief and section manager are here. Please come back as soon as possible.
Roger that. I can't believe the chief came all the way here just to say hi to the locals. Guess he's very dedicated to community service, eh?
Oh, wait. Is this also on the radio?
This is Takasugi. Oishi-san, can you hear me? Do you copy? Over.
Yes, I hear you. I'm on my way back right now. I'll be there in a minute. If I don't hurry up, even the chief might end up calling me. I ran back to the headquarters tent.
Yes, Nozo, you can. You can, in fact, do that.
Oishi-san, Dr. Irie is here. Ah, thank you so much for coming. So, what do you think, Dr. Irie?
Oishi entered the cordoned-off area. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the corpses of the corpse from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the dead body of Jiro Tomitake. When he stood up, he looked pale.
I can't believe it. I know. I can't believe it either. As far as I see, he clawed out his throat with his bare hands. This isn't a normal way to go. Most likely it was the cause of some drug or something.
Are you saying he was a drug addict?
Who knows? I guess it's gonna be my job to find that out.
Oishi-san, what's with this 2x4?
Maybe he was swinging it around, then he threw it away and had more fun clawing at his throat, I guess.
Why was he swinging a piece of lumber around?
He probably did it in self-defense. Did you notice there are several external injuries on his body?
Yes, I can see some bruises.
The easiest explanation I can think of is that he was attacked by someone on his way home from Okinomiya from the festival. He was seized by the culprit, given a shot of some kind of dangerous drug, went crazy and died.
I've never heard of any drug that can make people claw out their throats.
I'm not a specialist, but many drug addicts injure themselves when they're in a terminal condition.
Atropos with the $2. Quick, someone post Killing Irie gif. Which is, in fact, both a thing and also is on Tenor now. Atropos succeeded in getting it on Tenor, so you should be able to find that gif anywhere if you just type Irie into their gif bar, hopefully.
Well, I'm sure this old man of forensics will take care of the investigation. Excuse me, Oishi-san. We found a bicycle believed to belong to Jiro Tomitake about 100 meters away from here. Oh, that's great. Thanks for the find. Any other clues?
Not yet. They're investigating it right now.
So, that means the place where the bicycle was found is most likely the place he was attacked. And then he ran away from the suspect and ended up here.
Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomitake, and he kept saying the same thing over and over.
It's impossible. It's just impossible.
Doctor, if it happened, so it was possible, okay? Try to think flexibly. Although I get that you don't really see something like this every day, despite being a doctor. Anyway, thanks for your cooperation. You can go home now. We called you here for an emergency medical care, but looks like that was a waste of a trip. Sorry.
Oishi stuck his head out of the blue tent and asks,
Can anybody give him a ride home?
Irie gasped all of a sudden as he turned to Oishi.
What about Takano-san? What happened to Takano-san?
What? Oh, your nurse?
I think she was with him. Is she okay?
Do you know her phone number?
Of course.
Kuma-chan, get her phone number from Dr. Irie and make somebody at the station call her house. Understood. Doctor, can I have the number?
Yes, here it is.
Kumagai got the phone number from Irie, repeated it back, and then dashed away from the blue tarps.
Doctor, Takano-san and Tomitake-san were close friends, right?
Yes.
Have you heard about any troubles between them?
No. Not even once. They were very close.
Well, hope she's okay. In the worst case, she could be dead, or she could be the culprit. I see. Nurses have access to dangerous drugs.
We don't have anything like that in my clinic. Even if we did, we'd be extra careful with them. There's no way Takano-san could smuggle out a drug from my clinic.
But it's easier for nurses to do it than for regular people, right?
Like I said, I've never heard of a drug like that, and I don't have anything like that in my clinic.
Oishi-san, she isn't at home. The standby unit says they're going to go to her house to check. Doctor, can you give me her address? Kuma-chan, can you also check at the police headquarters has found any unidentified female bodies tonight? Maybe we should check the other prefectures too. Tell the section manager if he can call the headquarters in the nearby prefectures and ask if they have any unidentified female bodies. Yes, sir. Are you saying that Takano-san might also be dead? Well, I don't know. I don't know if she's dead or if she's the culprit. Of course, it's possible that she's not involved at all. She might just be getting drunk in a bar somewhere. It's unbelievable. Who does things like this? Well, it's unbelievable to me, too.
Neon Roses with the $5. Thinking violent thoughts about Oishi like that one David Lynch post. Yeah, hooking myself up to hospital equipment to think intense negative thoughts about Oishi.
This fits with the rest of the mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's been 5 years now. That would make this the fifth curse of Oyashiro-sama. Damn it. I've got to get whoever's behind it this year for sure. I really want to put an end to these cases before I retire.
Oishi hates the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It had been leading him around by the nose for 5 consecutive years. The victim of the first year, the manager of the damn construction site, was his friend. Despite his desire to avenge his friend, the mystery had only deepened, and one case followed after another year after year. Oishi would be retiring next March. As a retiree, he'd be able to ask about the progress of the investigation, but he wouldn't be able to take the initiative anymore. In other words, this year was his last chance for revenge. Would he have to put his head in the lion's mouth to capture the culprit? Oishi quietly clenched his fist. Yeah, they went over that in Himatsubushi, Grifters. Remember when they all played Mahjong together? I believe that this maze has an exit. Maze is a very convenient word. A maze always has an exit. You don't call it a maze if it doesn't have one. I know I'm on the right path towards the exit of this maze. I used to miss these minor divergences, but now I don't miss anything. I don't make any mistakes. This time I could feel a response that was different than all the other times. I'm sure I can finally get to the exit of this maze. But no matter which path I choose to come to this point, Jiro Tomitake always dies. Rena had been sick ever since that day, and she hadn't been able to join in on club activities as often since.
Yeah, I still feel feverish.
You do, huh? That's a pity.
Hey, Rena, why don't you just try and play with us today? I think you'll feel a lot better if you blow off some steam with us. You got this old man's agreement.
Do you think so? Do you?
Sometimes resting too much is bad for you.
They're quite correct. All illness comes from the mind, don't you know?
Everybody had suspected for a while that Rena isn't really sick, at least physically. It's just that many things happened to her at once. She caught a mental cold. That's why I thought she would get better once she played with us, just like we used to. It seemed like Rena was aware of that too. She knew that she had to get out of her state of depression soon. She wanted to get better, and she wanted to have fun again every day.
Okay, I'll do it.
Great! That's the spirit. Considering the fact that Ren is still recovering from her illness, let's play a tabletop game today. Let me see. Mion started rummaging through her locker, humming to herself. She took one game after another from the locker and put them aside. That locker definitely didn't obey the laws of physics. The amount of games she took out from the locker was more than what it could physically hold. Oh, I forgot about this one. Let's try this. Today we'll be playing this detective game. Oh! What's that? Sounds interesting. Well, this is a game where you guess the culprit, the murder weapon, and the scene of the crime. It's a game where you use your brain.
You'll pick it up as you play. All you need to do is note down the information you have.
In other words, you need to learn the trick of note-taking. This is a game for intelligent people like myself.
The rules don't seem that difficult. In short, it's a game where you sound out the cards each player holds in order to try and reason out the identity of the cards first drawn out of the deck. There are plenty of games in different formats where you try to identify something hidden in the least number of steps. This one just happens to be a competitive one of those. The key to winning this game would be how well you can organize your information. We usually like to play athletic games so that we can run around a lot, but in our club you have to excel both academically and athletically. All right. This is gonna be great. Let's play! Rena, do you remember how we still haven't decided the winner of that water gun battle? I'm gonna settle it today, once and for all.
Oh, are you? Then I'm not going to go easy on you.
If Rena's getting serious, I'll have to get serious too.
Yes, indeed. Since that water gun battle, I've reevaluated Keiichi-san and Rena-san. I'm going to be merciless today.
This is getting exciting. This old man's been waiting for everybody to get this fired up. Excellent. Let's do this. Are you ready? I did it with the knife in the library.
Okay. My turn. Keiichi-kun did it with poison in the hall. My turn. Mion did it with the pistol in the lounge.
You're holding the pistol, aren't you? You're bluffing.
I think we know the suspect in the murder weapon. I've narrowed the scene of the crime down to 2.
Oh, you're good, Rika-chan. I've narrowed the suspect down to 2, but it's hard to pin down which one it is. I'll give you a tip. There's always a hint in the questions the other players ask you. If you figure it out, you can even solve the whole mystery by the order of the cards the others put down on the table.
I see. Damn it, I underestimated the depths of this game. Oh no, my notes are such a mess. I can't even read my own handwriting.
Once you acquire the skill of note-taking, you'll have a 70% chance to win this game. But even a 70% chance won't be enough to defeat me.
I kinda knew I didn't stand a chance of winning this game, but I gradually started picking it up. Rena seemed to be getting her energy back as she played along.
Piney Tree with the $5. If the club had 2 more members, they would love diplomacy. Also, the fan made 4D diplomacy with multi-dimensional time travel. I'll take your word for it.
It was the right decision to force her to play with us today.
While we were in the middle of the game, Chie-sensei came into the classroom. My, you look like you're having fun. Anyway, is Ryugu-san here?
Huh?
You have a visitor. Everybody looked puzzled. Parents sometimes showed up at school for some reason, but Chie-sensei never called them visitors. It's rare to have a visitor at school.
I wonder who it is. Well, I have to go. You can continue without me.
Rena left the classroom at a run. What should we do? Should we wait for her?
Well, we don't know how long it's gonna take. Rena told us that we could continue, so let's do that. Yeah!
Around the entrance, the glaring sun and the cool shade made for a clear contrast. An old man who's holding his jacket on his arm was waiting for me. He looked like he was overheating, and his tie was limp.
Are you Ryugu-san? Reina Ryugu-san?
Ever since Rena called me Reina, I've hated that name more than ever. Because of that, I didn't have a good first impression of this man. Yes, that's me. May I ask who you are?
My car has air conditioning, so why don't we move this into there? Aren't you hot out here?
He ignored my question and started walking toward the car parked in front of the school gate. If he wanted to talk about something normal, he would have used the teacher's office. But he wanted to talk in his car instead. I couldn't help but feel suspicious. Chie-sensei let me see him, though. Let him see me, though. That meant he wasn't a suspicious individual as far as she was concerned. Who was he?
I don't bite, you know. Please, this way.
He called out to me while opening the rear door. Is he a policeman? Did the police find out that I killed those 2? I felt anxious all of a sudden. Was this what they called a voluntary interview? I didn't want to go in that car, but if I rejected his offer, it'd only make me look suspicious. I prepared myself.
and got in. It was really cool inside the car. A car AC must cost a fortune. At least my father's car doesn't have one.
Please let me know if it's too cold. I like keeping it that way.
So what is this about? What's this talk about? In retaliation, I ignored his question and got to the point like he did. He pulled a small notebook out of his breast pocket and flipped through it. He picked out a small photo from it. The photo showed the face of a goofy-looking man.
Please tell me if there's anything you know about this person.
The man in the picture was expressionless and looked half asleep. Sometimes you can't even recognize your own family members in a photo where they don't have an expression. So there's no way I would recognize a person who wasn't related to me. But anyway, that was a bit of a relief. This had nothing to do with Rina or her partner.
There were some scribbles on his shirt, and we found the signatures of students at this school, including yours, Ryugu-san.
Is this Tomitake-san? I don't feel his usual carefree unreliableness from this picture at all. From this half-awake, emotionless face.
How about this woman, then?
I knew what he was going to show. Her name is Mio-san. Mio Takano-san.
When'd you see them last?
I think it was right after the Watanagashi festival.
Didn't you notice anything strange? Anything. Please tell me.
Did something happen to them?
Dr. Hen with the $5. 私の車にはエアコンが来てますからそっちでお話しましょう. I don't remember off the top of my head what that means, but I tried my hardest. Yeah! I got it! To tell you the truth, I wasn't sure if it was Rena or Mion.
So, you gambled? How risky.
It doesn't matter how we won.
What matters is that we won.
Oh, Rena. Oh, it's my car has air conditioning. Let's talk in there. I gotcha. Oh yeah, aircon, air conditioner. Yeah, I see. Oh, Rena, welcome back. What took you so long? Mio noticed that Rena had returned. She looked exhausted. I have no idea what she talked about with the visitor, but it was obvious it wasn't something fun. Rena, you okay? Oh, she uses watashi? Weird. Well, I mean, watashi is pretty, like, neutral, honestly. It's used by a lot of people.
What? What's okay? What?
I'm talking about you. You look pale. You sure you're alright? Rena tried to convince us that she was fine, but her face clouded over for a moment and she decided to leave early. I shouldn't have forced her to join the game. I was regretting it a little. Rena probably forced herself to play with us even though she wasn't feeling well at all. Rena put her stuff in her bag, apologized to us for leaving early, and left the classroom.
Well, she's gone now. I guess we have to keep playing until we have a loser.
That's right. Whose turn is it?
Meep.
Okay, Rika-chan, come on!
First of all, I wasn't very close to Mio-san. I knew who she was, so I greeted her whenever we happened to pass by. But that was about it. I never really talked to her except for that one time. And that time was only recently. It was between the day of the Watanagashi festival and the day I was caught in the act of burying the two corpses by Keiichi-kun and my other friends. I had a phone call from the library that evening, and I was told that my father needed to return the book he borrowed. He was shopping at the home improvement store at the time, so I went to the library to return the book for him. While I was there, I thought about borrowing some books for myself, and I started walking around the library. I saw her there.
know, the thing is, I really kind of wanted to save this conversation for next time in particular. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do this. This is the first time, but I think I'm gonna have to end a chapter early here and wait until next time. I'm sorry to do it to you, but trust me when I say you'll understand why I'm leaving this for next time, because I want all of that stuff to be together in one stream rather than split across two. So, I apologize for that, but you will understand. So for now, let's go ahead and turn on our Rena Thinker so that you guys can talk theory and discussion stuff while I pull up art. I appreciate just taking one for everybody taking one for the team here and understanding why I have to do this. Okay. Let me open stuff. Alright, Baki. I can. Would you mind linking it to me real quick while I'm pulling stuff up? Also, yeah, just everybody feel free to get theory talking now. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Very good stuff tonight, art-wise, by the way. Okay, got that. Let's see. Got that. Got that. Let's go to the server. Okay, I think that should be all the art pulled up. So, let's look at what you guys have been saying. Justin, so clearly Rika is all too aware and mature for how old she is, especially with the wine scene, lol, and she knows how things play out almost every time. She's clearly looping like Groundhog Day. One could definitely strongly speculate that at this point, yes? I mean, you know, it's very depressing to think of a 9-year-old being depressed enough at this point to already be drinking, but... You know, I mean, hey, if you were trapped in the hell loop, I suppose you might think about it too. Indigo, I'm trying to think of how this can devolve further. Maybe Rena starts thinking the same things Keiichi does in episode 1, but that can't be all. There have been a lot of intentional parallels to the previous arcs, but especially Onikakushi here, so... Fair enough speculation. Dragonite. Theory. Rika's response to Rena calling her out this chapter makes me think we might see a timeline where Satoshi doesn't get disappeared in the future. Possibly. Justin. Is the loop Oyashiro-sama's curse? Is Rika's real sin causing her to loop? I don't know. Who's to say? Gona. Oishi is 100% going to try to make Rena suspicious of her friends and turn on them. Like, she's already not well mentally. I feel like she's going to have a mental breakdown eventually. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of what he does, really. Whether he realizes it or not, you know, obviously I feel like he, in that scene in, at the festival, you can definitely see him sizing up the group and kind of having that thought of like, yeah, Rena seems kind of like the odd one out. She's probably the one that I could talk to about stuff and probably, you know, get her to, you know, give me information by turning her against her friends. So, yeah, it's not great. Bagel. I think it'll be interested to see if/how Oishi tries to get Rena to mistrust her friends, since none of them have a disorder normal people don't have, plus the big friendship moment from earlier. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Seditious. Theory. Rika was drinking wine with Keiichi's mom, who is actually 2 other kids stacked on top of each other, so that there's names attached to them. I'm guessing who whatever/Hanyu is/was, and the kid who Rena's old mom has pregnant with before the divorce. That kid's name is now Shayna to fit the theme. This keeps evolving in directions I wasn't even sure were possible before. Shayna. Nozo, not too much of a theory, but I think I remember stuff from, remembering stuff from other timelines is only going to get more prominent and important from here. It'll be crazy if Keiichi remembers End of Onikakushi. Also, air conditioner theory is super duper real. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's definitely seemed to impact Keiichi's decisions in the here and now a little bit already. He sort of has those inklings of what would have happened if he had done something like a Tatarigoroshi, for example, which is why he knows that, you know, killing a person who is inconvenient to your situation doesn't necessarily make that situation better. In fact, in many ways, it actually makes it much harder. Let's see. Grifter's Bones. Okay, my first small thing, why Tomitake? I've been floating this around in the back of my mind for a while, but is there a reason why Tomitake is the one to die? Was he chosen, or was it by chance? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. Who could say? Gona. It's so funny how Takano was like, oh, Shion, don't tell people I told you about the curses. Like, she's not telling her whole business to any random child that shows interest. Oh, would you like to know about the gruesome history of dismemberment and murder? Some of which I have speculated, some of which I have found in newspapers. How old are you again? Like 5? Yeah, that's old enough to know about this. Let's see. Bagel. Actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if Oishi will use any of the theories he and Shion had about Satoshi's disappearance to get Rena to trust him / distrust her friends. Fair point, actually, because obviously we know that Rena, too, feels pretty strongly about how things went with Satoshi, so it's a good in if he wants to get one. Rika's real sin is being too good of a father for Keiichi. I spoiled you, Keiichi. I'm sorry. You would have been much better off if I just had given you a bit of a sterner parenting. Rika-chan, what are you talking about? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Still remember when we were talking about sins and someone said gluttony for Rika and I joked she was an alcoholic. Turned out I was the joke. Yeah, well, sometimes you stumble into things in these. Cybernetic Silver. I was very suspicious about Irie before, but I'm sure that he knows something now. The repetition of the word impossible, it cannot possibly be nothing at this point. Very fair, very fair. Griffith's Bones. Another small thing that I think is important to keep in mind. Irie says that there aren't any drugs that do that in his clinic, which only means they don't stock anything that might cause that. What it doesn't take account for is someone taking something new into the hospital. One could hypothetically store and hide a drug rather easily in a hospital if they were part of staff. Oh, okay, yeah, that's actually a really good point. I like that. I like that. I like that detail. You make a good point there. Thinking of the animation of Rika trying to purchase alcohol. Yeah, there is. That does exist. Kitty, I wonder if realizing your sins and the forgiveness and hope that come with reaching out to the people around you is the way forward, then maybe whoever that person was who was crying on the train in Onikakushi is a key part of this. I'm sorry seems to be very important to the whole story, not just Onikakushi. I wonder if that beginning scene is a key to this whole mystery. Not just setting up the phrases. That is a very good point. Because, yeah, I mean, like, I think you guys already realized this from that scene, but, like, Higurashi, at the end of the day, like, one of its primary themes, one of the biggest parts of it is the idea that if you are having trouble, if you are struggling, if you are going through something in your life, and you feel, you know, like, alone, that you should reach out to the people who care about you. You should reach out to your friends. You should talk to them. Nothing is going to get better if you just shoulder it by yourself. Even if you feel like you're doing the right thing by keeping it to yourself, or you're not going to inconvenience anyone, it is always better to talk to people. And in fact, if you don't talk to people, it might get worse. So, yeah. It's very, I quite like it a lot. It's why I was so particular about, like, no, guys, you have to lock in for this. You have to listen to this. This is important. Let's see. Justin, somebody brought wine as a shrine offering, and since it's the family shrine, she's like, mine now. Tomitake is for sure an undercover cop, and I think that has something to do with it. Okay. Interesting thought. Rena problem? Solved. Rena's corpse? New problem. Yeah. You just exchanged one problem for another. see. Bagel, can you imagine if they accidentally left Rina or Tepe's arm at the dump? You're some guy throwing away trash, you find an arm, but it's not the arm everyone's been saying is out there. It's just like, oh my god, guys, I think I finally found it. They're like, no, different arm. What do you mean, different arm? I need to hear Rika dad voice again.
What do you mean? I'm just Keiichi's dad. There is no Rika, Dad. It's just me.
Seditious. I feel like Irie is in on Takano and Tomitake's scheme, and it was more than just breaking in, but that they were trying to steal something. When found dead, Irie realized the plan failed, and that's why he asks about what happened to Takano upon seeing Tomitake. Killed himself when Keiichi willed it, and could even explain him leaving the kidnapped child scene as a scheme they were in. Oh. That, on top of that, the three are some kind of trio of criminals trying to overthrow the three families by stealing secrets, blackmail, and more. I really like that theory. That's actually, like, you know, putting those disparate pieces together. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. Good one. You really thought well about that. I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, you came up with Furudad, which is easily the foremost running theory of the entire series, of course, but, you know, it's good to keep your polished backup sword, just in case. Kitty, adding a fourth part, I'm guessing there's someone from the village, which is where a chunk of my thought process comes from. Talking about the apologizing voice. Perhaps. Maybe. Cybernetic Silver, Takano and Irie are doing something. I have no idea what, but they are doing something. Maybe Takano is doing murder and Irie is running around trying to cover them up. IDK, man, but they are doing something. Well, I mean, yeah, that's objectively true, because Irie is always doing shit that I don't want him to do. but yeah, fair enough suspicion. Grifters. Okay, now what I consider the big stuff. When talking about their sins, Riki uses the pronoun them. And as much as Higurashi rules, I don't think that any of these characters use they, them. How would you know? So when Rika is saying how the girls hurt them, she's definitely not talking about just Satoshi. It could totally be talking about the deaths that happened over multiple timelines. Perhaps. Justin, that quote-unquote annoying one is really, really important. I think it's Oyashiro-sama or a demon like it, and it is causing deaths or is like a manifestation of guilt. Maybe the annoying one was walking behind. I see. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Rika dad has been dead for years. Yeah. Well, I guess then there is no Rika dad. In both senses, there is no Rika dad. That sucks. Gona. By the way, I noticed a pattern of the characters that feel Oyashiro-sama's presence being the ones who eventually go on to commit violence or have committed violence in the past. For example, Keiichi only feels Oyashiro-sama in Chapter 1 and 3, the same chapter he kills someone. If that's the case, what does it mean that Tomitake heard the same noise as Shion in the ritual storehouse? Fair point. Takano just keeps girl bossing too close to the sun, and that's why she caught on fire repeatedly. True. Grifters is in the middle of typing a thing. The other thing, that whole tip with Rika drinking, again, she was talking to / about someone that definitely isn't Satoko or anyone else. The most obvious answer is that it's Oyashiro-sama. I'm waiting for your next part, but Yeah, we know for sure that it's definitely not Satoko, though, because Rika would not call Satoko the annoying one. She loves Satoko. Mans finally managed to catch up. This felt like the most revealing episode so far. My head is spinning with ideas. Also, thank you so much for the amazing voice acting. Thank you. I appreciate it. Jadiriel, I think Rina was the burned body in Watanagashi. It could have been her in Tatarigoroshi as well, though they never call out it possibly not being Takano there. Well, the thing is, it can't be her in Tatarigoroshi because the body at the very beginning of Tatarigoroshi that is found in that river or whatever, or the sewage thing or whatever, is Rina. They say that it's Rina. Right? I'm remembering that correctly, right? Yeah. So that would be a separate body. Yeah, I forgot about that as I was typing. Yeah, no worries. There are a lot of facts to keep track of. Okay. But I'm trying to keep an open mind in case they throw some crazy stuff at me. Interesting that they don't want Rika to drink, and they both know when Rika will die. The mystery person even knows. Waiting again. Yeah, but to cut into the middle of that while I wait for you to finish, though, yeah, that is an interesting point, though. They both know that Rika is going to die, and have a generally good idea of when it's going to happen. So, Oh yeah, that's right. That's right, Dr. Henwig. It is because of Rina's death that Tepe comes back to the village. Which I mean, I guess we avoided that outcome in one fell swoop here. So, it shrugs. That's a plus. The annoying person says, "Hello, Oyashiro-sama dog girl confirmed." I refuse to comment. The exact date, which does seem to make them seem especially supernatural. IDK, when all else fails, it's the swamp creature. When all else fails, it's the swamp creature, truly. But yeah, fair enough, fair point. Because yeah, that is not exactly something that you should be able to predict. Cybernetic Silver. Oyashiro-sama is the protector, so I think it makes sense that so I wouldn't be surprised if he acts as a witness when he feels someone from the village is in trouble and has lost his ability to help, since it is a more modern world. That's an interesting way of looking at it, for sure. That would make him a more sort of benevolent force in that way, who is just kind of helpless to intervene. ERA, I am so interested in why Rena is sick. She's been living with the garbage for a long time, and she had to dispose of 2 bodies for too long, which could bring illnesses and many types of bugs. Oh, you haven't finished yet. Sorry. Mons, I remember Rika saying a strange word or name before her death in the last episode. That paired with ghosts being confirmed makes me think it has to be the annoying one's name. Oh yeah, she said Hanyu. But, again, no confirmation or denial on whether you're on the right track with that one. I know it has to do with bugs. Maybe the silkworms from the Sonozaki house are maggots. I don't know how to put them together. Arg, pulls hair. Perhaps. I don't know. The annoying one is Satoshi, and he's annoying because he keeps showing up in the background like a Where's Waldo book and then skittering away like the hamster his hair reminds me of for some reason. Okay. Jeez. The hamster. Can somebody please do art of
hamster Satoshi for next stream. like Hamtaro Satoshi. Oyashiro-sama probably goes by she, since the Furude family only consider daughters as potential reincarnations of Oyashiro-sama, implying that it is a feminine entity. Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that other characters have used masculine pronouns to refer to Oyashiro-sama at some point in the past. But that is still a fair point. Yeah, they definitely have. Yeah, I remembered. Everyone misgendering Oyashiro-sama, huh? That's why they're cursed! I'd like to note about the masculine pronouns, we are reading a translation. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I love Oyashiro-sama. True. I mean, there are definitely ways to refer to someone in a more gendered way in Japanese, but it is definitely, like, a little bit more abstract and not quite as commonly done as far as I remember. I know that, like, when you refer to girls, a lot of the time you just say kanojo, which is literally just like girl. I don't know exactly how that factors into the sentence structure itself, but yeah, you basically have to go out of your way to gender someone. But yeah, I don't know specifically how that is rendered in the Japanese for those scenes in particular. In Japanese, does the annoying one speak with any specific personal pronoun, like watashi? They only said a few sentences, though. I actually don't remember. Let me see if I can find anything for that. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Okay. The quote unquote. Oh well. Actually, does the character? I mean, like, I don't think the answer would spoil much of anything, and also I don't know if the character uses it in that scene or not. I just wonder if it would be like an interesting little thing for people to chew on. It's largely unhelpful, but I won't go out of my way to say it. I don't think it's a spoiler. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I don't think it's really. I think don't. I guess. I really don't know how much you could gather from it, to be honest. Whatever. I just won't do it then. It's not that though, Mons. It's a very normal pronoun. It's a very normal personal pronoun. I just won't say what it is for right now. Was it Papyrus that uses Ore-sama? I think he does. Watashi. And Sans uses Oira. Yeah, I remember that Sans uses Oira. Which is actually very interesting because if I remember correctly, hold on, I gotta check this just to make sure. Yeah, it is a bit of a country bumpkin sort of personal pronoun to use. So Japanese Sans is a country guy, which is very funny. He's a country boy. Anywho, we're getting off track here. We're talking about Undertale now. I think we can probably move on now. To art. So let's go ahead and do that. Can it give me the window, please? Thank you. Okay, so first, we have this from Don Pon Pon on Blue Sky. I think that they would make a good throuple. Guys, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Of course I would. You're cute. You'd be a cute one.
You know. You know. Very good. Real quick. Arabaki Gaming with the $2. Sans mentioned in second stream in a row based. I didn't even remember that I mentioned him last time. Yeah, I did check the Discord. Oh, there's even more stuff that I didn't check from before. Yeah, I'll open that stuff in a minute. Actually, before I finish looking at this stuff, let me go ahead and open this as well. Wait, shit. Wrong tab. Hold up. I opened this as well. This was the original CG in that scene, by the way. The one that Ryukishi drew. Thank you to Arabaki for sending it to me. I just wanted to show it off real quick, because there's not actually a whole lot of CGs in the original version of the game, but this is an exception. And it's really good. But anyway, this is this is very funny. I like this a lot. Thank you. And then in the same post, Wormion. It's beautiful. What a specimen. Jeez. Next up on Blue Sky, we have this from Akimichi. Something I did while listening to the stream. Thanks for the extra time, guys. Onikakushi inspires sketch since we know how she thinks now, but I thought that was kind of a downer for this stream. So I also edited an image. Yeah, no, I mean they have quite a bit of similarities with each other. So I think it's a fair comparison to make, and I quite like it. Honestly, it's very good art. You rendered them very well, and this is this in particular is very funny. Oh, jeez. Okay, moving on to Tumblr. We have this absolutely adorable fan art from Marigal on Tumblr. High-pitched and excited voice, Brenna! Been watching NezumiVA's absolutely fantastic Higurashi streams lately, and since we're starting her question arc, it's an answer arc, actually. Nerd emojis.
I wanted to do a little something for the sweet, sweet baby girl who has never done a single wrong thing in her life and who definitely isn't already making me so sad. Oh god. Go do your best, honey. Oh yeah, Shiro-sama wills it. Yeah, this is really fantastic. The coloring, the like nice soft shape language, the background cutouts, the dark, the shadow behind. Oh, it's so good. Also, I just really love this shade of purple in particular. Who could have guessed? So this pops off really, really well. This is fantastic. You did a really, really good job with this. The extra foot. Yeah. Man. It's so good. Again, you did a fantastic job with this. Really, really like this one. Next, we have art from Dingo's Trash. Rena, you're taking on far more than you should. You are not responsible for all that, my poor girl. I appreciate everyone's kind words in stream chat. I might just be someone who enjoys the VODs and shares art, but I'm glad to be a small part of the very sweet community in the When They Cry streams. Aw, I'm happy. I'm pretty bad at gauging how far we will get, so I'm putting the second image under a cut just in case, but regardless, I think it's pretty appropriate. And yeah, let me go ahead and slide that on in there, because I forgot to slide that in real quick. Hold on just a second. The Rena plush torn apart. That's really good. You did a very good job with that. I love the imagery a lot. Very cool. Yeah, great work as always. And I hope you're feeling better from what you were talking about last week as well. Next up, we have this incredible fucking piece from Noruoki on Tumblr. Why did it stop playing? I guess I just have to have the window open for it to play. Let me... Because I was looking at the description in the other tab, but let me just pull it up on my phone real quick so I can read it at the same time so you can see it while I'm reading it. Can you see me? I'm a bit behind on the VODs, but getting to see the finale of the last arc was brutal. I've been having a lot of feelings about Shion as a newcomer to the series. It was a fascinating experience watching Watanagashi and slowly realizing it's her. I want to give Marcy enormous kudos for the voice acting. Thank you. Because as similar as the sisters are, there's a slight difference to them. There were levels to this, a nuance and vibe that I didn't think I could experience with just the written version. Oh, that's really nice of you to say. I really appreciate that. I wanted to capture this feeling somehow, seeing Shion, her looking to be seen, and how her own personhood felt invisible and fleeting. Something I haven't planned for, but a friend pointed out that it's deceitfully simple. The demon eyes are in your face, but it's a distraction from other layers. I really liked that interpretation. I had to constrain myself heavily to avoid wrist strain, but I'm really proud of this piece. I managed to wrap it in under 6 hours and ended up giving myself a lot of emotional damage while making it, so I'm glad I can share that with others. The fact that you did this in such a short amount of time is literally insane. Like, I genuinely cannot even imagine doing this good of work in that amount of time. That is fantastic. I really, really like this. Like, yes, there is the eyes, like mentioned before, which are also great. But I love the subtle, layer that you can see of her hair underneath with the ribbon that distinguishes them. The darkening of the expression. It's just, all of it is so good. It's so well, it's such a good, illustration of Shion's character as a whole. I genuinely can't, I can't stop looking at it. It's so beautiful. I love this a lot. I'm really, really happy that you decided to make this and share it for the streams, because it's just one of those things that when I see something like this in the tags, I'm just like, that fucking crazy that somebody would even make something this cool for the streams in general. So that's, yeah, thank you. This is really, really awesome. next up, we have these illustrations from Schrodinger's Catgirl, Renaryugu World Domination End Post. True, very cute. Rena Kirby, me when I swallow the evidence. The fucking, the dessert. This is so good. And then another curvy Rena as well. This is really adorable. You did a great job with this. Yeah, thank you. Next up, we have this from Ubi-Ubi. I very quickly realized that I don't own any orange pens. My methods were rather dubious. Well, I mean, it looks fine to me, honestly. This looks, yeah, great. Just like always. I, again, really, really like your use of like highlighting with pens and like markers and stuff. And I think I see a little bit of the glitter in there as well. I think you always do a really good job with that. And yeah, it came out very, very good once again. Especially the facial expression is very, very well done, very well detailed. Next up, we have this from Aquanoir. A sprite redraw of sorts. I really struggled to draw Rena's hair for some reason. You did a fantastic job with this, though. This is really, really good, and very well detailed. I also really like the line work being in the same blue as the uniform. It gives it a very nice, like, very cool look, honestly, which contrasts very well with the oranges and the yellow in her color palette as well. It's just very pleasing to the eye. It looks very nice. Moving on over to Discord, we have, hold on just a second. Let me go back to my server. Yeah, no kidding. You guys have been dropping stuff in the Discord for sure. Reposting last week's Troubled Higurashi since it was accidentally left out of the fan art reel. Yeah, again, sorry for that. As well as sharing this week's. And this is wonderful. This is going to be fine. I love this. I was soon to change my mind, however. Yeah. And then this one of Keiichi. A meat cleaver, he thought. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Even if Keiichi ends up being down with helping to cover up crimes, I can only imagine the initial shock and horror of finding out the real reason why your friend hasn't been feeling well was because she was in the process of slowly dismembering not one, but two bodies. Yeah, one would have to imagine. Yeah, I don't even want to think about when they accidentally came across the fridge full of limbs and heads and shit. Jeez. Very, very good, as usual. Always tough to do good profile shots, but you did a good job with these. Next up, we have this, which you might have to turn a little to look at. But, this is really cool. From Pitch, was drawing a happy Rena, but my hand slipped while doing line art. The text in the picture, white lilies equals innocence, bloody lilies equals loss of innocence. Oh, by the way, I think I maybe forgot to mention that these two were by Rahela. Sorry if I didn't mention that before. But yeah, this is really cool. The hatching, yeah, as people are pointing out, is really well done, especially for the letters. The obscured face. The flowers are really well drawn. This is just, yeah, this is like, it almost kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, not necessarily exactly, like, art style-wise, but I mean, like, just in terms of, like, the actual hatching work itself, it reminds me quite a bit of Junji Ito art, which is a very big compliment to give for me, because I fucking love that man's artwork. Yeah, the eyes and the hair, like that in particular is very impressive. Yeah, you did a really good job with this. Thank you for submitting. This from Chiyoko, who managed to get her in at the last second. Whew, barely got this through in time today. And what a good job you did, as always, the obscured cleaver. Jeez. Very good pose, though. And the dark stare. Ooh. Always POV your Tepe. I hope not. for multiple reasons. But yeah, as always, it's peak. You always do a fantastic job, Chiyoko. Next up from Gloomy Squids. I finished it. I did it. Rena, you deserved so much better. Yeah. But wow, this is really well done. I really, really like the arrangement of everything, the framing, the sunset. It's so pretty. The birds. Yeah, this perfectly like sets the tone. And I like that like some of the composition choices here actually do remind me of, and I say this as a good thing, not as a bad thing, but it reminds me a little bit of the scene in the anime, specifically the better drawn shots in the anime, because as much shit as I give it, it does have its moments visually, at least in terms of like, you know, how they put it together. Captured the vibe very, very well. And now we have to open the stuff that I haven't opened yet. So let's do that. So first, we have an Oishi Dai GIF now too, which I fully expect to be up on Tenor as well in the next couple of days. Sorry to put this task on your shoulders, but you did it to yourself. Very good. We have this from Pining Tree. I should have made you do chores. I should have made you do chores so you'd learn life skills at a what is that? It's an early age? I'm not sure, but or at a better age. Okay. Huh? The Keiichi, huh? Very good. Have to disable stream mode so I can actually read these. Decipher with this excellent Rena. Really, really good expression here and very good posing as well. Really like this a lot. I like the shadow a lot here. In particular. Yeah, very, very good. From Gloomy again, I miss drawing Keiichi's stat. Hi, it's Mr. Myanmar. Oh, jeez. And also one more. Thank you, Chatter, for this idea. Where's Satoshi? Oh my god. That's Jesus. From Dav at Space Caribou. Tepe's last moments. Yeah, there's your POV again. Oh, jeez. This is a really good expression though. Like the pain on it is so good. I like the angling too. That is, yeah. Ugh. It fills me with hurt, fills me with pain. But not as much pain as he was gonna go through in the next couple of minutes. Am I right? Okay, yeah, that should be all, I believe. But thank you all so much for the wonderful art. Let's scroll through it all again. Oh well. I guess I should actually let that play once. Okay, now. Very, very good. Everybody just keeps knocking it out of the park every week. I'm so happy to see you all evolving as artists and see the wonderful stuff that you submit. It makes me very happy. And there will be plenty to get to next time as well. That will be worth drawing cool art of, I'm sure. Not foreboding at all. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again. I'm sorry that this was a bit of a shorter stream than usual, but we kind of have to juggle a little bit for this arc, because the thing about this arc is because of it being so long, some of those parts are necessarily going to end up being shorter than others. And in that same respect, the final stream of this arc is probably going to be longer than usual, in fact. Depending on how fast we get through it, it could be longer than 5. We'll see. So, anywho, I've had a very good time tonight. I hope you've had a very good time tonight too. And anything that I have to go over. Make sure to tune in Tuesday for we'll be starting Of the Devil on Tuesday. That'll be fun. And then the Tuesday after that, we'll also be starting Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. Make sure to tune in next Friday for the continuation of this. And, yeah. I think that's it. So, anywho, I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.